Chapter 403. It was Ning Fan's first time using the myriad sword style ever since he comprehended it. This was a void fragmentation realm sword technique. Given his current level of the Tao of Sword, he could only comprehend 1/10 of it. Even so, this sword technique was already much stronger than ordinary mortal void sword techniques. Xian Yi's eyes became even deeper. Even with his eyesight, he actually could not see through the trajectory of Ning Fan's sword shadows. In his heart, there was a strange feeling that he would lose more than he would win. No. This old man is a void refinement realm cultivator. How can I lose to a junior? Feeling proud, Xian Yi's gaze became resolute. His finger seals changed, and the 6 silver wings behind him flapped in unison, emitting strands of silver light like starlight. He gripped it with one hand, and the silver light immediately condensed into a silver longbow. With the silver bow in hand, Xian Yi stood proudly at the peak of Feiyue Mountain. He pulled back the bowstring, but had not yet drawn it. However, when the bowstring was pulled back, the surrounding starlight was drawn to the arrow, turning it into a starlight arrow. In an instant, it was as if the entire night sky began to tremble. It was as if as long as the bow was drawn, the arrow would be able to flatten the entire Tianqi Island. Being targeted by the arrow, Ning Fan felt as if his blood was about to be ignited. His eyes darkened, and he was slightly stunned. If he wasn't mistaken, this star condensation archery technique was extremely similar to the lost primordial fiend god divine ability, the star punishing bow. It was just that when Xian Yi used this technique, it was somewhat specious. In addition, Xian Yi had not comprehended the starlight technique and did not have a natal star, so he could not even display 1/1000th of the technique's power. If a true ancient fiend god used this technique, a single pull of the bow could shatter a star. One arrow could destroy a small kiliocosm. Ning Fan's eyes lit up. This technique is very good. This is the fiend god divine ability that I, the 6-winged ancestor, created, the star punishing bow. When I use this technique, it isn't even 1/1000th of my ancestor's strength. But you cannot withstand this technique. This old man advises you to quickly summon your puppets. Otherwise, you won't be able to withstand my bow. Is that so? Ning Fan's took a step forward and Separation Slayer slightly drew an arc in the air. The 10,000 sword shadows around his body were all activated at this moment. It was a shallow sword arc, but it seemed to have cut through the dawn of the ancient times. The dark night seemed to have been split apart by his sword. A wave of solemn and murderous sword intent spread out from his body. All of a sudden, it engulfed 100,000 li of Tianqi Island. Countless cultivators didn't even have time to react before they were immobilized by the shocking sword intent. On this island, only the deity transformation stage Elder Tianqi could move slightly, but after sensing the terrifying sword intent in the outside world, he didn't even have the courage to go out and take a look. At this moment, his white robes fluttered in the wind as he stood proudly at the peak of Feiyue Mountain. His black hair danced in the wind like a devil. When Yun Tianjue displayed this sword move, the sword light was like a dragon or a cloud. However, when Ning Fan used it, it became a little terrifying. The blood moon, which had been dyed red by the baleful aura, was suddenly covered by countless pitch-black clouds. If one were to take a closer look, one would discover that the black color was not cloud chi at all. Instead, it was sword chi. The wondrous principle of turning one sword shadow into 10,000 was not just about splitting one sword shadow into 10,000. On top of the 10,000 daos, it could still be further divided. For example, Yun Tianjue had used the foundation of 10,000 sword shadows to turn one sword shadow into 10,000, creating 100 million sword shadows. In theory, as long as one has enough magic power, the 100 million sword shadows could still be divided infinitely. This myriad sword style was almost limitless. Ning Fan had only comprehended 1/10 of this sword move. He could not divide 100 million sword shadows, but he managed to create 10 million sword shadows. The black clouds that covered the blood moon were the sword shadows that were separated from the blood moon. As he raised his sword, the dark clouds in the sky turned into countless sword lights that danced like black dragons. Myriad sword style. Sword light flashed in Ning Fan's eyes. When he raised his sword, 10 million sword shadows fell from the sky like a downpour, instantly drowning Xian Yi. An extremely dangerous sense of crisis instantly engulfed Xian Yi's entire body. While he was still in a daze, he drew his bow without hesitation and shot out a ray of starlight arrow. He had almost used all of his magic power. When the silver bow was drawn, the hollow space within 100,000 li shattered without any warning. The Feiyue mountain collapsed. Half of Tianqi Island sank into the deep ocean. Countless cultivators exclaimed in shock. They were just affected by the shockwaves, but none of them were killed or injured. Even so, cries of terror resounded across the entire island. Who is it? Who is the one who shot the arrow? Who is the one who sank half of the island with just a single arrow? I don't know. Under the cover of the 10 million sword lights, no one could use their spirit sense to spy on the battle at all. The Feiyue mountain collapsed. Ning Fan protected the two ladies and was directly sucked into the hollow space along with the shockwaves. Facing the incoming arrow light, even Ning Fan felt a hint of danger. Xian Yi had only used 1,000th of the power of this technique, but it was already so terrifying. If it is really an ancient fiend god who uses this technique, it would not be rare for him to destroy the rain world with a single arrow. However, since this technique was used by Xian Yi, it was still not enough to defeat Ning Fan. The 10 million black swords and a ray of starlight clashed against each other in the hollow space. The sword shadows crumbled one after another. The traces of starlight began to disappear. Xian Yi's eyes were filled with surprise. He had drawn his bow with all his might, but none of his arrows were successful. It was as if they were on par. As Ning Fan turned his sword intent deepened. His immortal trapping sword intent swept across the hollow space. The power of the 10 million sword shadows instantly multiplied and engulfed the starlight arrow. Boom! The 9 million sword shadows crumbled and the starlight arrow was crushed. The shockwaves shook heaven and earth. The remaining 1 million sword shadows suddenly flew towards Xian Yi. Xian Yi's expression changed greatly. His full force attack was actually slightly weaker than Ning Fan's. Puff! The 1 million sword shadows arrived at his body too quickly. Even with Xian Yi's speed, he could not avoid this attack in his exhausted state. Even with the strength of his void refinement realm devil body, he was actually injured by the 1 million sword shadows in an instant, causing him to cough out blood incessantly. The silver light on his 6 silver wings dimmed. There were even traces of damage on his body. His robes were tattered like a beggar's and blood was flowing out non-stop. He looked at Ning Fan in shock. The destructive power of that single sword attack was too terrifying. Xian Yi had a ridiculous feeling. If Ning Fan breaks through to the void refinement realm and fights against him on equal footing, he would only need a single sword attack to take his life. Even though this young man has yet to break through to the void refinement realm, it would not be difficult for him to fight Xian Yi to a draw with his sword. In fact, he might even be slightly stronger than Xian Yi. This young man is very strong. You've lost. Ning Fan kept his sword and stood upright. His other hand was still blocking the wind of the void for the two ladies. The power that lingered around his fingertip was the power of the void. Xian Yi's eyes flashed with surprise. To be able to control the power of the void, one must at least be a void inquiry stage cultivator. I, Xian Yi, am just a void glimpse stage cultivator. Could it be that Ning Fan has actually succeeded in breaking through to the void inquiry stage? Does this mean that Ning Fan managed to defeat Xian Yi in a single sword attack when he was distracted by the two ladies? If he did not take care of the two ladies, even though that sword attack of his would not be able to kill Xian Yi, it would at least cause him more than just some minor injuries. At least, it could cut off one of Xian Yi's arms and one of his wings. I lost. Xian Yi's face was filled with disappointment. The arrogance he had when facing Ning Fan in the beginning had completely vanished. He had already used his strongest technique, but he still lost to the myriad sword style. According to their agreement, he must give Ning Fan the right to use the revival platform. Fellow Taoist can use the revival platform. However, you must wait for 1 year. 1 year? That's not what you said just now. Ning Fan frowned, feeling slightly displeased. Fellow Taoist, please don't misunderstand me. The activation of the revival platform requires a lot of preparations. Sacrificial rituals and formations are indispensable. In the past, this platform would only be used when the experts of the clan are severely injured. Even if fellow Taoist didn't win against me, after I bring back He Yi's primordial spirit, I still need to prepare for 1 year before I can borrow the power of the revival platform to reshape his body and heal his injuries. Xian Yi hurriedly explained, afraid that Ning Fan would misunderstand him. At this moment, he already understood that the Six-Winged Clan did not have the right to negotiate with Ning Fan at all. Ning Fan's strength was already comparable to an ordinary Void Refinement Realm expert. His techniques were even more shocking. If he summons 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets, it would not be difficult for him to eliminate the Six-Winged Clan. The current Xian Yi did not want to offend Ning Fan anymore. Since the revival platform needs 1 year to prepare, it's not impossible for me to go to the Six-Winged Clan 1 year later. However, if I do that, fellow Taoist Xian Yi will owe me a little. Besides, you destroyed my Tianqi Peninsula with a single arrow. You certainly need to compensate me. Compensate? Hee hee. As long as fellow Taoist's request is reasonable, I will agree to it. Xian Yi smiled apologetically. He was no longer as arrogant as before. He did not have any objections to Ning Fan's request. What a joke. He had even lent the revival platform, the most important treasure of the Six-Winged Clan, to Ning Fan for his use. What other compensation would be worth? I want the star-punishing archery technique. Ning Fan's words shocked Xian Yi once again. Xian Yi was dumbfounded. It had never crossed his mind that Ning Fan wanted the ancestral secret technique of the Six-Winged Clan again. This. Xian Yi was in a dilemma again. Fellow Taoist, are you unwilling? Ning Fan's tone became slightly cold. No. There's no harm in letting fellow Taoist have a look at this technique. However, fellow Taoist must swear. Before Xian Yi could finish his words, he was interrupted by Ning Fan. I don't have the habit of swearing. Ning Fan did not need to give Xian Yi any concessions at all. He wanted the revival platform and the star-punishing archery technique. If Xian Yi refuses to give it to him, he would directly kill his way into the Six-Winged Clan and annihilate this devil clan. He should be domineering because he was stronger than the Six-Winged Clan. If it wasn't because he had 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets and his combat strength that was comparable to a Void Refinement Realm expert, the Six-Winged Clan would probably send out all of their experts to kill him. Why would they negotiate with him? What should I do when the world vilifies me, bullies me, humiliates me, and laughs at me? You only need to vilify them, bully them, humiliate them, and laugh at them. Why do you need to endure them? Xian Yi let out a long sigh. He could not afford to offend Ning Fan. Thus, he could only endure it. Fortunately, the star-punishing archery technique was obscure and difficult to understand. The conditions to cultivate it were even harsher. Not only did he need to condense his devil veins, he also needed to comprehend the star technique. If not, the destructive power of this technique would only be equivalent to a mortal void realm magic technique. If he condenses his natal star, its destructive power would be extraordinary. As long as Xian Yi condenses half of his natal star, he would not lose to Ning Fan. However, it was obvious that with his innate potential, he might not be able to comprehend the star technique even if he becomes an immortal. Sigh. Fellow Taoist, you must treat this technique well. This is a jade slip that was personally imprinted by the ancestor of my clan. Fellow Taoist can have a look at it. However, after you comprehend this technique in the future, please return this jade slip to me. Sure. Ning Fan nodded his head. Since Xian Yi's request was not excessive, he would not reject him. He patted his storage pouch and took out a sealed primordial spirit. It was none other than He Yi. After removing the seal, he tossed it to Xian Yi. Without saying a word, he turned around and left with the two ladies. He would return to the Six-Winged Clan 1 year later. Not now. After the seal on He Yi was removed, his primordial spirit gradually regained consciousness. In a daze, he saw the appearance of the Great Elder and then saw Ning Fan's back. He was still in a daze and shouted angrily. "Great Elder! You've come to save me. Kill him. He's the one who destroyed my physical body." "Shut up. After returning to the clan this time, you are not allowed to take a single step out of my clan for the next 1,000 years. Otherwise, I will personally kill you." Xian Yi's roar directly stunned He Yi. What a joke. I, Xian Yi, am not willing to provoke Ning Fan ever again in my entire life. If He Yi causes any more trouble and provokes Ning Fan, Xian Yi would be the first one to kill him. After being roared at, He Yi gradually regained his consciousness. Only then did he notice that the Great Elder was in a rather sorry state with many injuries on his body. As for Ning Fan, who was far away, he was not injured at all. Besides, the attack that the Great Elder suffered was not from the attacks of the spiritual puppets but from a sword. The chi of Ning Fan's sword intent was still lingering in the sword wound. Immediately, a wave of shock and fear swept through He Yi's entire body. Could it be that the Great Elder fought against Zhou Ming? Could it be that he lost to Zhou Ming? How is this possible? The Great Elder is the strongest expert of our Six-Winged Clan. He Yi, who had regained his consciousness, was terrified of Ning Fan. Ning Fan, the female corpse, and Yu Lingkong flew out of the hollow space and returned to Tianqi Island. Looking at the miserable state of the island, none of them were moved. There were no casualties on Tianqi Island. It was just the destruction of the peninsula. There was nothing to be surprised about. Moreover, Ning Fan did not even bother to explain to them what happened just now. None of them saw that the one who fought against Ning Fan was the Great Elder of the Six-Winged Clan. The moon portal had already condensed. Without any hesitation, the three of them stepped into the portal. As soon as the moonlight dispersed, the three of them disappeared on the spot. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, they appeared on an island that was 300 million li away. This island was once a force of the Divine Space Island, and it was currently being sealed. However, the lord of this island had learned his lesson. When Yu Lingkong crushed the grand formation of the island with a palm strike, almost no one dared to resist. Everyone knew that the newcomers were venerated Ming and venerated Moon. Putting aside Yu Lingkong, whose cultivation base had fallen, Ning Fan was a person who absolutely could not be provoked. A day ago, this island was still attached to a second-rate force. However, after the news of the battle on Tianqi Island spread, that second-rate force directly gave up all of their territories on this island. They even prepared lavish gifts and were prepared to apologize to the Divine Space Island at any time. All of these lavish gifts naturally went into Ning Fan's pocket. As for the spiritual herbs on the island, Ning Fan emptied them once again. The last quarter of the moon had already passed. The next time the moon portal opens, it would be another night. In that case, they would probably need a month to travel across 300 million li in one night. Moreover, the route was not a straight line and it was full of twists and turns. Compared to flying on his own, it would save him a lot of time. Besides, other than the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan could spend the rest of the time on his own matters. Pill concoction, and pill concoction. The spiritual herbs stored on the two islands were enough to concoct a few consciousness-repairing pills. With the help of the speed of pill concoction in the profound Yin world, which was 100 times faster, Ning Fan concocted many fifth revolution pills like the divine injury pill and the spirit solidifying pill. After feeding the consciousness-repairing pill to the female corpse, Ning Fan felt even more gratified when he saw that her sea of consciousness became slightly better. After giving some spirit-solidifying pills to Luo Yu, Ning Fan could only sigh when he saw that she still had not woken up. If you wake up, why would I be afraid of the Ghost Eye clan anymore? I can do whatever I want in the internal sea. He gently stroked Luo Yu's sleeping face and left with a sigh. After he left, Luo Yu slowly opened her eyes. She no longer pretended to be asleep. Her eyes flashed with complicated emotions and a hint of nervousness. The Ghost Eye clan. Is he in trouble? Should I tell him that I've woken up and help him solve the problem? I think I shouldn't. If he's in danger, I will naturally know. When he's really in trouble, I will show myself. Now, it's still too awkward. 1 month passed by in a hurry. Ning Fan's group arrived at more than 30 islands in succession. After tomorrow, they would arrive at the Divine Space Sea domain after passing through the last moon portal. During this 1 month, Ning Fan had concocted more than 100 consciousness-repairing pills and fed them to the female corpse, helping her to recover her late divine transformation realm strength. His pill refinement mastery was also improving quietly. He was only a step away from attaining the high-grade 5th Revolution pill refinement realm. Perhaps, after the battle in the Divine Space Sea, he would be able to achieve a breakthrough after concocting some pills. He did not continue concocting pills. Instead, he adjusted his magic power and adjusted his chi to its peak. There was a Void Refinement Realm cultivator on the Divine Space Island. That Void Refinement Realm cultivator was Yu Linkong's second primordial spirit. Let's call her Little Yu Yu for now. Ning Fan did not dare to underestimate Little Yu Yu at all. Ning Fan had already witnessed how mysterious and powerful Yu Linkong's moon burial inheritance was. As Yu Linkong's second primordial spirit, she might not necessarily lose even if she fights against 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets alone. Besides, that second primordial spirit was probably also proficient in the moon portal technique. If she manages to slip away, she would become a great enemy. This battle was rather dangerous. He must not underestimate his enemy. Ning Fan took out a jade slip. It was the one he obtained from Xian Yi. During this 1 month, he continued to learn all the contents of the jade slip. Now, he could already display the star punishing bows technique. Even though his cultivation base was not as good as Xian Yi's, he had 5 natal stars in his body. The destructive power of the star punishing bow he displayed was more than a level higher than Xian Yi's. Tomorrow night would be a battle of life and death. Ning Fan did not cultivate. Instead, he casually flipped through the jade slip. All of a sudden, his brows furrowed. The latter half of the jade slip was blank as if it had been erased by something. There seemed to be something hidden under that blank space. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. He felt that the blank space was somewhat familiar. It was not intentionally left blank. Instead, it was some kind of handwriting that was erased by a power similar to samsara. However, the owner of this samsara power did not seem to be proficient in the true samsara. The samsara power that he displayed seemed to be right but was actually wrong. It was not the true samsara. The concealment was too clumsy. With Ning Fan's eyes, he could vaguely see some silver handwriting under the blank space. Before tonight, other than the ancestor of the 6-winged clan who imprinted this jade slip, no one knew what was hidden in the blank space of the jade slip. However, after tonight, Ning Fan would also know about the blank records. Ning Fan's eyes moved. With a point of his finger, a trace of memory power went into the jade slip. Memory. The memory of samsara. If the handwriting was erased by the true samsara, Ning Fan would not be able to recall it with his current memory power. However, the pseudo-samsara power was not worth mentioning at all. The silver handwriting that was erased by the pseudo-samsara power slowly reappeared. As soon as he saw the handwriting, Ning Fan's eyes were filled with surprise. A moment later, his eyes were filled with joy. My 6-winged clan was once one of the servant clans of the 6 Tao. I have glimpsed a trace of the great Tao of life and death from the 6 Tao. I borrowed the power of the starry sky to manifest the vast vault of heaven and condense the bow of annihilation. When the bow is drawn, the stars fall. When the arrow is shot, a world is destroyed. The descendants of my six-winged clan who wish to learn this technique must first comprehend the power of the starry sky. After that, they will receive this jade slip and inherit my star power. One word, one star. There were a total of 94 words in this passage. All of them were condensed from the power of the starry sky. A single word contained all the star power of a natal star. The 94 words were the inheritance of the 94 natal stars. In the six-winged clan, this jade slip had been passed down for countless years. However, no one had ever understood the mysteries of samsara and no one could see through the inheritance of the pseudo-samsara power. Ning Fan saw it. Tonight, he could pretend to be a member of the six-winged clan and openly obtain the 94 natal stars that were left behind by the ancestor of the six-winged clan. The six-winged clan is really generous. Devour. He opened his mouth and inhaled, absorbing the 94 rays of starlight into his body. The corners of Ning Fan's lips curled into a smile. He kept the jade slip and returned to the profound Yin world. He wanted to completely refine the power of these 94 stars tonight. I wonder if I can possess 99 natal stars before tomorrow night. With 5 natal stars, I can fight against a divine transformation realm expert without dying. With 99 natal stars, even if I'm attacked by a void refinement realm expert, I'm afraid that I can heal my injuries in an instant. If I possess 99 natal stars, Ning Fan has complete confidence to fight against Yulinkong's second primordial spirit. At that time, Ning Fan would have an immortal body when facing early void refinement realm cultivators. Chapter 404. On the next day, 99 shooting stars suddenly appeared in the sky above the island. 99 shooting stars streaked across the clouds. It was extremely strange. Countless cultivators on the island were speculating about this strange phenomenon. Ning Fan only got out of the profound Yin world in the dead of the night. His aura was completely different from before. If one had to describe him, it would be that he now had an ethereal and mysterious aura that was as unpredictable as the starry sky. Little Cucumber, is the appearance of the stars in daytime related to you? Are you all right? If you have any problems with your body, we can go to the Divine Space Island in the future. I'll let you recuperate first. Her tone was cold but her eyes were filled with concern. Are you worried about me? Ning Fan teased. Why would I care about you, little cucumber? You're so thin and small. You won't even be enough for me to eat. Is that so? Ning Fan shook his head. He did not remember that his cucumber was very small. Don't worry. The appearance of the stars in daytime is indeed related to me. However, it's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing. I will help you get your second primordial spirit back. Be careful. Don't lose your chastity and die. If you die while helping me, I won't be able to forgive myself. Yulinkong was a little uneasy. She was not as confident as Ning Fan. The female corpse, on the other hand, always had a calm expression. With her late divine transformation realm strength and her corpse devil body, she could even put up a fight against a peak divine transformation realm expert. As her spiritual intelligence recovered, her combat experience also became richer. There would not be any safety issues during this trip. In the last quarter moon, the last moon gate opened. Yulinkong became even more nervous. Once they stepped through this gate, they would enter the divine space sea. Without giving her the chance to hesitate, Ning Fan held the two ladies with both of his hands and entered the moon gate with a serious expression. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the three of them appeared in a sea area with white mist. This white mist was as light as cotton and as faint as moonlight. However, it almost completely blocked the spirit sense of cultivators. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. This white mist was much more domineering than the primordial magnetic force of the Pleasure Devil Sea. Even his early void refinement realm sword sense could not spread too far in the white mist. It could only reach 200 zhang. Thus, once they enter this sea area with white mist, they would certainly get lost. If they do not know the route, ordinary cultivators would probably not be able to come out after entering. Follow me closely. This is the moon mist that I deployed in the divine space sea. Unless it's a void fragmentation realm old monster, anyone's spirit sense would be severely disturbed. After Yu Lingkong finished speaking, Yu Bai's divine sense spread out to a distance of 100,000 miles. Only she, the inheritor of the burial moon divine bloodline, could use the moon thought to identify the fog. She did not like to have too much physical contact with Ning Fan. However, at this moment, she had no choice but to hold his hand to prevent him from getting lost in the moon mist. This moon mist was something she had set up when she was close to attaining the void refinement realm. At this moment, the burden of forcefully breaking through the mist with her spirit sense was not small. Seeing that her magic power was depleting rapidly, Ning Fan channeled his magic power into her small hand through their palms. Immediately, Yu Lingkong's small hands trembled uncontrollably, and she said calmly, "Conserve more of your magic power. Don't waste it on me. Later on, I still need you to bring the 3 puppets and fight against my second primordial spirit. My second primordial spirit is really powerful. Conserve more of your strength. Don't worry. I've already said that I'm not worried about you. After this incident, I will still be the supreme martial artist of the internal endless sea. I will not follow you anymore. As for the favors I owe you, I will repay them one by one." Compensation? How? Ning Fan's eyelids twitched. Immortal jades, spirit herbs, cauldrons, Dao fruits, it's not enough. Ning Fan's tone was indifferent. "I will compensate you with my body. Is that enough?" Yu Lingkong became intrepid again. "Pay with your body." "You?" Ning Fan smiled meaningfully. Yu Lingkong's body was just an 8-year-old girl. Her body was too small. How was she going to compensate him with her body? "Don't worry. If you help me take back my second primordial spirit, I'll most likely be able to restore my original figure. It'll be enough for you to play with, and I'll definitely suck you dry," Yu Lingkong said confidently. The indifference in her tone made Ning Fan feel a little ashamed. His skin was really not as thick as Yu Lingkong's. However, when she thought about it carefully, Yu Lingkong seemed to treat her very specially. If she wanted to repay him with her body, then so be it. To other men, it was as if they would feel disgusted if they touched her. She wasn't open at all. After all, his feelings for Yu Lingkong were special, weren't they? Interesting. I'm looking forward to your repayment with your body. Ning Fan's lips curled into a smile. You should live well and look forward to it. My body is really hot. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. What if I'm not satisfied? If you're not satisfied, I'll keep following you until you're satisfied. All right. It's a deal. Ning Fan's eyes became even deeper. If Yu Lingkong could not satisfy him, she would not be able to escape from his clutches. Does this little girl want to be single again? I'm afraid it'll be very difficult. While they were talking, Yu Lingkong had already brought Ning Fan to the end of the moon mist. After passing through this mist, it was the boundary of the divine space island. They could faintly sense the formation light of the mountains and rivers outside the mist. Yu Lingkong withdrew her palm and Ning Fan no longer teased her. He patted his storage pouch and took out 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets, 6 Divine Transformation Realm spiritual puppets which were at the late stage and 1 Peak Refinement Realm as well as the Black Dragon Refined Corpse. Other than the spiritual puppet which had been destroyed in both body and soul, Ning Fan had already repaired the remaining spiritual puppets with a large amount of immortal jade. Ning Fan took a deep look at the spiritual puppets and changed his hand seals. Devour. As soon as he uttered the word, 4 miserable shrieks resounded in the air. The 4 primordial spirits that were sealed in the spiritual puppets were forcefully refined. The aura force of the 3 spiritual puppets increased a little. This You used 4 half-step void refinement realm primordial spirits to increase the strength of the spiritual puppets? You're a madman. Yu Lingkong was shocked once again. When she was recuperating from her injuries, Ning Fan had already eliminated the 5 elemental revered beings and absorbed the 4 primordial spirits as nourishment for the spiritual puppets. I've been a madman since a very long time ago. Let's enter the island. Ning Fan's eyes turned serious. He took a step forward and led the 2 ladies into the mist. In front of them, a beautiful and magnificent holy land of cultivation suddenly appeared. It was like the cold moon in the middle of the night. It was exceptionally quiet and tranquil. The air was slightly cold and the seawater was covered with a thin layer of ice. A ray of moonlight formation light enveloped the entire divine space island as if it was sealing the island. From that formation light, one could vaguely tell that there was someone in the palace on the island who was using the formation to absorb the power of the moon to increase their cultivation base. Needless to say, the person who was using the power of the moon to increase her cultivation base was naturally Yu Lingkong's second primordial spirit. In other words, even though Yu Lingkong did not cultivate for the past 20+ years, her second primordial spirit had been cultivating on her behalf. Leave the second primordial spirit to me. As for the other disciples and elders, you, Weiyang and the others will deal with them. As soon as Ning Fan finished speaking, he crushed the formation light with one of his fingers. All of a sudden, countless exclamations of shock resounded from the divine space island. None of them could understand why the formation light was destroyed. A cold and stern female voice suddenly resounded. It carried the terrifying aura force of an early void refinement realm cultivator. Who are you? You're courting death by trespassing on my divine space island. After that cold voice resounded, countless rays of moonlight scattered down from the sky and pressed down on Ning Fan. The suppressive power of the gentle moonlight was not any weaker than that of a 10,000 zhang tall mountain. Under the faint moonlight, a graceful lady who was wrapped in a light yellow veil walked out leisurely. Her appearance was peerless. She was vaguely the mature version of Yu Lingkong. However, her eyes were excessively cold. There was no trace of emotion. There was only killing intent. Long time no see, my second primordial spirit. Yu Lingkong's beautiful eyes were filled with anger. Oh. It turns out that Master has returned. Master, you're not dead yet. Then, let me send you to hell today. Suppress. With that one word spoken, the moonlight became even more ethereal, and its might immediately increased by several times. All of the moonlight shot toward Yu Lingkong. Leave this woman to me. Ning Fan took a step forward and punched with his fist. The moonlight in the sky was shattered, but his fist felt a little numb. He thought to himself that the moonlight had a very strong suppressive force. With the 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets, the 4 of them surrounded the yellow-robed lady in an instant. This yellow-robed lady was at the early void refinement realm. Other than her, there were only 7 other divine transformation realm elders in the divine space island, and all of them were Yu Lingkong's disciples. 4 of them were at the early stage, 2 of them were at the middle stage, and 1 of them was at the late stage. Yu Lingkong, the female corpse, and the puppets could easily crush them. Yu Lingkong's gaze fell on the 7 divine transformation realm disciples and she felt slightly sad. Among these people, some had risked their lives to save her, and some had betrayed her. But now, all 7 of them had their intelligence erased by the second primordial spirit and were refined into moon puppets. As for the other low-grade disciples, half of them had become moon immortals, and the other half barely retained their intelligence. Most of them had already perished when their second primordial divinities rebelled. Whether it was gratitude or enmity, these disciples seemed to have paid the price. Yu Lingkong originally wanted to kill all of the traitors. However, she did not want to kill too many people at this moment. She only had one enemy and it was her second primordial spirit. Cucumber woman, show some mercy. Just knock them out. The cucumber woman that Yu Lingkong was referring to was naturally the female corpse. Oh, the female corpse answered softly. Then, she took a graceful step forward and charged into the group of cultivators with Yu Lingkong and the puppets. Even though she did not understand what a cucumber woman was at all. Those who could be spared were all knocked out. Those who were really stubborn were only killed. The 2 females and the 7 puppets were at least at the late divine transformation realm. How could the disciples of the divine space island stop them? The yellow-robed lady's beautiful eyes turned cold. The huge foundation that she had painstakingly seized turned out to be so useless. It really infuriated her and she asked coldly. Who are you? Why are you helping her? Ning Fan naturally did not have much to say to her. Even though the yellow-robed lady was also a Void Refinement Realm expert, she was also fearful of Ning Fan's 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. Of course, she was just fearful of him. After all, she was Yu Lingkong's second primordial spirit. She had inherited her arrogant and domineering personality. Even if she had to fight against 3 of them alone, she did not think that she would lose. Moreover, since the 3 Void Refinement Realm puppets were all spiritual puppets, all of them would become useless as long as Ning Fan who controlled them is eliminated. I just need one move to kill you instantly. Moon Scattering Technique. The yellow-robed lady waved her hand and rays of moonlight spread out from her sleeve. As the moonlight swept across, the 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets were all blown away. The moonlight in her hand condensed and turned into a moonlight longsword. It was so sharp that it seemed to be able to cut the heavens. With a tap of her foot, she dashed towards Ning Fan with a sword that could overturn the world. Blade of Scattered Light. Chi.an ear-piercing sword hum spread out. The hollow space within 100,000 li was cut open by the yellow-robed lady. The cut was terrifyingly smooth. Seeing Ning Fan's body being cut into 2 by the sword, the corner of the lady's mouth curved into a cold smile. However, at the next moment, her beautiful eyes widened in shock because she realized that what she had cut was just Ning Fan's afterimage. Whoosh! Behind the yellow-robed lady, a white-robed figure slowly emerged. On his back were 2 large purple wings that stirred up a violent gust of wind. The moment he appeared, he directly used his speed to pluck the yin chi of his finger, trying to get close to the lady and subdue her with a single finger. Demon wings that are comparable to the speed of a Void Refinement Realm cultivator, huh? This bewitching technique doesn't seem to be weak. The yellow-robed lady's eyebrows turned cold. She immediately understood why Ning Fan could escape from her fatal attack. Faint moonlight flashed around her body. Her speed was actually slightly faster than Ning Fan's. With Yu Lingkong's late divine transformation realm strength, she could even melt the sea of consciousness of 2 half-step Void Refinement Realm experts when she used this technique. When this technique was used by her second primordial spirit, which was at the Void Refinement Realm, its destructive power was even more terrifying. Ning Fan's expression changed. His thousands of sword lights were all melted by the moon burial technique. Fortunately, the power of the sword lights was extraordinary. They managed to neutralize the moon burial technique. The myriad sword style and the moon burial technique ended in a draw. What a powerful sword technique! However, it's not enough. The yellow-robed lady's expression changed. She had still underestimated the myriad sword style. So what if I have underestimated it? She bit the tip of her tongue and changed her hand seals. The moonlight that was destroyed by the myriad sword style suddenly condensed again. Moreover, it carried an even more powerful melting force and descended upon Ning Fan's head. The moon burial technique was far from being as simple as it seemed. It still had a backup plan. Second burial. Seeing that the moonlight was unstoppable, Ning Fan flapped his wings and flew towards the 3 spiritual puppets. He opened his mouth and inhaled, directly swallowing the moon flames on their bodies. The moon flames, which were powerful enough to trap Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets, actually could not harm Ning Fan at all. The yellow-robed lady's expression turned pale with fright. She did not know that Ning Fan possessed the steel of sun and moon, which was a supreme treasure that could restrain fire. After the 3 spiritual puppets regained their mobility, Ning Fan's sword light danced in the air. Together with the 3 spiritual puppets, he launched 4 attacks which shattered the moonlight in the sky. Rumble. 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 Rumble, rays of moonlight fragments fell like snowflakes. As the moon burial technique was broken, the yellow-robed lady felt a sharp pain in her chest. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. The killing intent in her beautiful eyes became even stronger. After dispersing the moon sword, she wiped the trace of blood from the corner of her mouth with a gentle finger. Then, she formed a series of hand seals with her fingers and muttered an incantation. Moon Shadow Spirit Clone Technique. The moonlight enveloped her body. At the next moment, a beautiful figure split into 4 people. There were 3 illusory figures and one of them had a real body. All of the illusory figures were the spirit clones condensed from the moonlight. Each of them had the combat power of an early void refinement realm expert. Spirit clones were naturally weaker than the true body. Even so, they were already strong enough to fight the void refinement realm's spiritual puppets to a draw. Using this technique obviously put a huge burden on the yellow-robed lady. However, she no longer cared about harming herself at this moment. She had used several of her trump cards but none of them could eliminate Ning Fan. Ning Fan was already enough for her to pay attention to him. As the 3 illusory figures and the 3 spiritual puppets fought against each other, the yellow-robed lady walked towards Ning Fan with each step she took. Now, no one can save you anymore. Moon Burial Technique, 2nd Burial and 3rd Burial. Traces of moonlight that extended to 100,000 li descended once again. However, it was much scarier than any of the previous times. Even if a mid-void refinement realm being were to be attacked by such a terrifying moonlight, his or her sea of consciousness would also be greatly damaged and irreparably melted. Ning Fan's mind raced. With all the techniques he had, it would be extremely difficult for him to break the 3rd burial. The yellow-robed lady was not an ordinary void refinement realm being. Instead, she was an existence that was almost invincible among those who were at the same level as her. Ning Fan had yet to attain the half-step void refinement realm, let alone the void refinement realm. Even if he displays the heaven-breaking sword finger, wind mist finger and wind snow finger, he might not necessarily be able to withstand the 3rd burial's moon technique. He had 2 methods to deal with this woman. One was the sovereign aura, which he was not prepared to use. As for the second, starlight flashed in Ning Fan's eyes. He reached out with his 5 fingers and as the ground trembled, the earth soul was pulled out from his palm and swallowed into his stomach. After extracting her soul, her cultivation base had broken through to the half-step void refinement realm. The gap between her and the yellow-robed lady had already shrunk. He pointed to the sky, and 99 pitch-black stars suddenly appeared in the moonlit night sky. The strange black starlight enveloped Ning Fan's entire body. He allowed the moonlight to attack his body, but he remained unharmed. No, he wasn't unscathed. All his injuries were healed by the star power in an instant. Even if he was besieged by the moonlight, he wouldn't die. Soul extraction. Astrology. And it has 99 natal black stars. The yellow-robed woman paled for the first time. With such a powerful astrology technique, Ning Fan could almost ignore any early void refinement realm attacks. After all, the yellow-robed woman was just her 2nd primordial spirit. She could not fully display the full power of the moon burial technique. Otherwise, just the power of the 3rd burial would be enough to kill Ning Fan. Ning Fan had 99 natal stars in his body. Even though he was injured, he wouldn't die. Thus, he was already in an invincible position when fighting against this woman. What frightened her even more was that Ning Fan grabbed the starlight with one of his hands. Countless black starlight gathered in his hand and condensed into a black star bow. His other hand pulled the bowstring and the starlight condensed into an arrow. The heavens seemed to tremble in fear. At the moment when Ning Fan pulled the bowstring, the entire divine space island collapsed from the middle with a loud bang without any warning. Sea waves rolled up to the sky and the hollow space within 100,000 li suddenly shattered. The lost fiend god technique. The star-punishing bow. Impossible. How did this technique fall into your hands? She did not answer. Why do I need to answer? Ning Fan did not even look at the yellow-robed woman. His mind was only focused on drawing the bow and killing the enemy. The woman exerted all of her strength. Her 10 fingers formed hand seals and formed rays of moonlight armor to protect her chest. After that, she formed layers of moonlight walls. There were a total of 99 of them. Each of them was strong enough to withstand a full-powered attack from a half-step void refinement realm expert. Even so, the woman still could not get rid of the sense of danger she felt. She could only feel her blood boiling as Ning Fan's arrow pointed at her. Moreover, she had an intuition that even if she escaped to 1 million li away, she would still be shot by this arrow. An early void refinement realm cultivator's attack range was at most 100,000 li. However, the bow technique was different. It was a long-range attack technique. I can't escape. The only way is to resist it. Besides, the yellow-robed woman could also see that Ning Fan had nearly exhausted all of his magic power to draw the bow. As long as she can block this arrow, she could subdue Ning Fan without a fight and capture him whose magic power had been depleted. However, all of her fantasies vanished at the next moment. Ning Fan felt that all of his magic power and blood essence were being devoured by the bow. His face rapidly turned pale but his heart became calmer and more confident. Draw the bow and the world will be destroyed. As soon as the bowstring was released, the black star arrow turned into a soul-stirring ray of light. In just an instant, it pierced through 1 million li, drawing a ray of light that stretched for 1 million li in the vast sky. The layers of walls of moonlight that were blocking the way collapsed just like that. The layers of moonlight armors were instantly shattered. The star arrow pierced through her body, nearly taking away all of her life force and magic power. Wherever the star arrow passed, the sea region of 1 million li was split open, revealing a 1 million zhang deep and 1 million li wide ravine in the sea. An arrow that could split the sea. At the next moment, the hollow space of 1 million li was completely shattered. The sky seemed like it was going to collapse and the world turned dark. The yellow-robed woman had lost all of her magic power. She fell from the sky like a kite with a broken string. Her eyes were filled with hatred. She used the last trace of her magic power to try to open the moon portal and travel through the hollow space. However, before she could form a hand seal, Ning Fan had already pointed a finger at her. Heaven sealing technique. Countless bloodlines spread out from her delicate body, entangling her and making her unable to move. Ning Fan flapped his purple wings and appeared in front of her. Then, he pointed his plucking finger at her. You've lost. He did not kill her. After all, she was Yulinkong's second primordial spirit. In a sense, she was another Yulinkong. He could not bear to kill her. It was better to let Yulinkong devour her on her own. And no. Let me go. I'm 1,000,000 times better than that little girl. I can satisfy you with anything you want, even if it's my body. Ah! The yellow-robed woman struggled desperately but she could not break free from the heaven-sealing technique. She begged for mercy but Ning Fan did not show her any mercy. He could not make his plucking finger stop at all. Even if she had the most perfect body, in Ning Fan's heart, she was still not as important as Yulinkong who was a little girl and could not perform dual cultivation with him. She was as beautiful as a flower and as beautiful as the moon. Not everyone was worthy enough to move Ning Fan's heart. You can never be compared to her. Then, the yellow-robed woman let out a blood-curdling scream and fainted. She was captured by Ning Fan's plucking finger. The other 3 clones of the moon's shadow disappeared in an instant. In just the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan had already captured her second primordial spirit. His speed deeply shocked Yulinkong. One had to know that even though she had crushed the disciples of the divine space island, she had yet to knock all of them unconscious. Every battle between Ning Fan and the yellow-robed lady was witnessed by Yu Linkong. She reckoned that even if it is not her second primordial spirit who is fighting against Ning Fan but her early void refinement realm true body, she still would not be able to withstand a single shot from him. The power of the star-punishing bow's arrow was rather terrifying. With 99 natal stars, Ning Fan was able to withstand the attack of an early void refinement realm being without dying. His means were a little heaven-defying. This smelly cucumber is actually so powerful. Yu Linkong's heart relaxed. She nimbly changed her hand seals and the moonlight turned into threads that bound all the female cultivators. Recalling Ning Fan's words just now, her beautiful eyes became even more complicated. Facing the temptation of the beauty of his second primordial spirit, Ning Fan only responded with a simple sentence. You will never be able to compare to her. Yu Linkong helplessly discovered that her state of mind, which she had cultivated for 4,000 years, was completely disrupted by a man's words for the first time. For the first time, she felt that little cucumber was very pleasant to look at. She felt that she would never get tired of looking at him. His mind was in chaos. Chapter 405. You actually captured my second primordial spirit. Little cucumber, you're really a monster. The dark corridor was so deep that the bottom could not be seen. Yu Linkong led Ning Fan into the secret ground of the Divine Space Island. She still found it somewhat hard to accept this fact. A single arrow that was released from the bow was able to kill a void refinement realm being. The destructive power of a single arrow was indeed somewhat world-shaking. With 99 natal black stars, he was able to transform his star power into a bow. Ning Fan's technique was really not any weaker than any early void refinement realm cultivator. Light will win. The female corpse glanced at Yu Linkong with slight dissatisfaction. In her opinion, Ning Fan was omnipotent. There was nothing strange about him winning. Ning Fan smiled in relief. This little girl is not bad. Her spiritual intelligence has recovered to the point where she can argue with others. Perhaps, after going to the Six-Winged Clan and borrowing the revival platform, the female corpse's sea of consciousness could recover faster. After his second primordial spirit was sealed, it was handed over to Yu Linkong to handle. Only 1/3 of the female cultivators on the island were still alive. The rest of the women had already turned into moon puppets and were equivalent to the living dead. The 7 divine transformation realm cauldrons naturally had to be plucked. They had betrayed Yu Linkong and became Yuing, so they were reaping the consequences of their own actions. Yu Linkong did not feel guilty at all for letting Ning Fan pluck them. There were also 4 soul formation Dao fruits collected by Yu Linkong in the secret zone. There were 2 types of heavenly frost chi within his second nascent divinity. The spiritual herbs and immortal jades on the island were his spoils of war. Even if Ning Fan takes all of them away, she would not mind at all. She looked at the ruins of the Divine Space Island and could only sigh. The Divine Space Island that flourished for a period of time had already inevitably declined. There were too many betrayals in this place. She thought that she could kill the traitor and restore Shin Kong's reputation. But in the end, she realized that there was nothing here that could make her yearn for it. 4,000 years of cultivation has been in vain. Little cucumber, where should I go in the future? If you lose your direction, just continue to follow me. You haven't paid me back with your body, so why must you run away? All right. Yu Linkong nodded her head. It seemed like she was going to stay by Ning Fan's side for a very long time. At the end of the secret plane was Yu Linkong's life savings. Even her second primordial spirit would not be able to obtain it. Ning Fan had obtained 4 divine transformation realm Dao fruits in this place, but he did not feel excited at all. For Dao fruits were equivalent to 4,000 units of magic power. Back then, he had been running around for the Soul Formation Cauldron and the Soul Formation Dao fruit. Now, his magic power was so vigorous that eating the Soul Formation Dao fruit had little effect. Instead of consuming it, he kept it in his storage pouch, intending to give one to Su Qiuling. As for the rest, he would bring it back to his hometown for Jihe and the others to consume. The 7 spirit-severing cauldrons naturally had to be plucked. Yu Lingkong was refining her second primordial spirit in the secret area while Ning Fan was dealing with the female cultivators of the Divine Space Island in the outside world. The 7 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators were all plucked clean by Ning Fan, giving him an increase of 7,000 units of magic power. He didn't touch the other female cultivators, instead, he undid the puppet seals on all the female cultivators. After the seal was undone, the half-dead female cultivators turned into moonlight and faded away. They died and returned to the cycle of reincarnation. This was Yu Lingkong's request. She hoped that the past grudges would return to dust, dust to dust. She no longer had any attachment to the Divine Space Island. Grudges were no longer important. Let all the dead return to the cycle of reincarnation. There were only 2,000 female cultivators who were not refined into moon puppets. Ning Fan planted demon seals on each of them and made them part of the female guards of the Ning family. As for the rest, he would leave them to Bing Ling and Yu Ling. In the end, Ning Fan and the female corpse were the only ones left on the broken Divine Space Island. They stood guard outside the secret area to protect Yu Lingkong. This protection lasted for a total of 10 months. Yu Lingkong tried to devour her second primordial spirit completely and give up on her 2 primordial spirits to prevent herself from being devoured again. The 2 types of heavenly cold qi in her second primordial spirit were separated and passed to Ning Fan for him to devour. They were Shui Yu Yan, which was ranked 5th, and Lan Ling Shuang, which was ranked 7th. After devouring the 2 types of heavenly cold qi, Ning Fan's magic power increased by 2,000 units. He now possessed 8 types of heavenly cold qi. He remembered that there was still a trace of profound yin qi in the little pill devil's place. He would certainly be able to obtain it in the future. In other words, Ning Fan only needed to find 3 more types of cold qi and he would be able to gather 12 types of earth vein demonic flames. He had already refined 7 types of earth vein demonic flames. The Rain Palace still had 3 types of earth vein demonic flames. If there were no duplicates, Ning Fan would only need to find 2 more types of earth vein demonic flames and he would be able to gather 12 types of earth vein demonic flames. The power of Ning Fan's yin-yang flame was at least equivalent to a mid-7th grade immortal void flame. By using this flame to concoct pills, not only would the quality of the pills be higher, but the speed would also be much faster. During these 10 months, other than protecting Yu Lingkong, he was concocting pills. His pill refinement realm was approaching the high-grade 5th revolution. During these 10 months, Ning Fan had been concocting consciousness-repairing pills and lightning profound pills. The lightning profound pill could increase an early divine transformation realm magic power by 100 units. With Ning Fan's peak divine transformation realm cultivation base, he could only increase his magic power by 50 units after consuming it. However, he did not mind it at all. With the help of the 100 times faster pill concoction speed in the profound yin world, he crazily concocted the lightning profound pills. Since the profound yin world's cultivation speed was 100 times faster, there would definitely be a day where he would not be able to enter the profound yin world after using it for 3 days. However, 10 months of pill concoction was equivalent to 750 months of hard work for others. 10 months later, Ning Fan's success rate in concocting the lightning profound pills had reached 90%. He had concocted a total of 240 lightning profound pills. After refining all of them, his magic power increased by 8,000 units. It was nearly 4,000 units less than what he expected. The lightning profound pills were probably not far away from becoming useless. His magic power, 419,500 units. As for the consciousness repairing pills, he had also concocted more than 100 of them. It was almost time for Yu Lingkong to come out of her seclusion. Meanwhile, Ning Fan was waiting for the breakthrough of his medicine soul. His medicine soul was already on the verge of breaking through. He could attain the high-grade 5th revolution pill refinement realm at any time. Once he achieves the breakthrough, he would be a high-grade 5th revolution pill refinement master and he would be able to concoct high-grade 5th revolution pills. Ning Fan placed the Xian Wei blood gourd in the secret place. The Divine Space Island was already empty. Other than void fragmentation realm experts, no one could pass through the moon mist and enter this place. By placing the blood gourd in this place, it would take 10 years for it to turn into wine without any disturbance. It also prevented him from entering the profound Yin world frequently, which would affect the brewing of the blood wine. Ning Fan calculated carefully. His magic power was only 80,000 units away from reaching 500,000 units. He still had 3 peak void refinement realm Dao fruits with him. All of them were given to him by Wei Xian. Each of them contains 60,000 units of magic power. When he was at the late divine transformation realm, he could only absorb 1/3 of the Dao fruit's power when he devoured it. Now that his cultivation base had reached the peak divine transformation realm, he could absorb at least 2/3 of the Dao fruit's power. The remaining power of the Dao fruit was the part that Ning Fan's cultivation base could not bear. In the past, forcefully absorbing it would only result in self-harm. After condensing 99 natal stars, confidence rose in Ning Fan's heart. He was confident that he could completely absorb the power of the void refinement realm Dao fruit. He was not afraid of harming himself. With 99 natal stars protecting him, he could withstand void refinement realm attacks head-on. Why would he be afraid of the backlash from the void refinement realm Dao fruit? He still did not dare to eat the void fragmentation realm Dao fruit. As for the void refinement realm Dao fruit, it was more or less enough for him to consume it without any damage. Why don't I break through to the half-step void refinement realm in one go? In the profound Yin world, Ning Fan summoned his 99 natal stars and protected his body with starlight. After consuming the 3 void refinement realm Dao fruits one by one, the massive amount of magic power nearly caused his physical body to explode. However, under the support of the starlight, his physical body immediately calmed down just as it was about to explode. The 3 peak void refinement realm Dao fruits and 180,000 units of magic power were all refined by Ning Fan in the end. In the profound Yin world, Ning Fan suddenly stood up. His magic power broke through to 600,000 units. The aura force of his half-step void refinement realm spread out and shook heaven and earth. In the sky, tens of thousands of traces of the heavenly tribulation silver flames descended. They were much more violent than any of the previous ones. Each of them was powerful enough to kill an early divine transformation realm expert. Ordinary half-step void refinement realm experts would not dare to face the 10,000 traces of silver flames head-on at all. They could only rely on their magic treasures to block the lightning tribulation. Ning Fan was different. He had the steel of sun and moon which could restrain all flames. Seeing several tens of thousands of silver flames descending upon him, a fervent look appeared in his eyes. He opened his mouth and swallowed, turning all of them into nourishment for the steel of sun and moon. The soul of the steel of sun and moon had already recovered to 90%. It only needed a little bit more to recondense the soul of the steel and allow it to possess the strength of a void fragmentation realm strike again. Along with the breakthrough of his cultivation base, the opportunity for his medicine soul to achieve a breakthrough had finally arrived. Ning Fan's entire body was filled with a warm feeling as if the conditions were right. The medicine qi in his body intensified. His medicine soul had already broken through to the high-grade 5th revolution. His cultivation base was at the half-step void refinement realm. Pill refinement technique, upper grade 5th revolution. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with joy, but he did not feel proud. Since his cultivation base had already reached the half-step void refinement realm, it was definitely not easy for him to improve further. Breaking through to the void refinement realm was still a long way off in the foreseeable future. Even if the blood wine was brewed and he had sufficient magic power, Ning Fan did not know how long he would need to go into seclusion before he could succeed. When one's pill refinement reached upper grade 5, it was equally difficult to advance further. Fortunately, Ning Fan remembered that there was a medicine soul pond on the Pill Island. He wondered if he could break through to the peak grade 5th revolution with the power of the medicine soul pond. Everything was unknown. After slightly stabilizing his cultivation base, Ning Fan left the profound Yin world. His eyes suddenly turned cold. After breaking through, the sky above the divine space island also welcomed layers of silver fire clouds. This strange phenomenon naturally meant that Yu Lingkong had already completely devoured her second primordial spirit and recovered to the void refinement realm. These fire clouds were the fire tribulation of breaking through to the void refinement realm. Its destructive power was extraordinary. Little cucumber. Help me, block the tribulation. I have a problem. Yu Lingkong's intermittent voice came from the secret place. Before he could think about what happened to Yu Lingkong, he had already soared into the sky and stood under the 100,000 traces of silver flames. Something had happened to Yu Lingkong at this moment. She could not block the tribulation on her own. 100,000 traces of silver flames were nearly equivalent to the full force attack of a mid-void refinement realm expert. Without Ning Fan's help, Yu Lingkong would have died under this round of heavenly tribulation. Devour. Relying on the power of the steel of sun and moon, Ning Fan devoured the silver flames of the heavenly tribulation and destroyed the layers of tribulation clouds. However, he had underestimated the destructive power of the tribulation clouds. Even with the protection of the steel of sun and moon, he could not completely devour the tribulation flames. As the destructive power of the flames of the heavenly tribulation increased, the effect of the steel of sun and moon's fire suppression was decreasing. Ning Fan's eyes darkened. He waved his sleeves and summoned his 99 natal stars. The black stars illuminated the world. Standing under the tribulation flames and relying on the fire steel, his injuries were instantly healed. Even though he was in great pain, he did not care about it. 2 hours later, the fire tribulation stopped. The void refinement realm heavenly tribulation was at least 10 times stronger than Ning Fan's half-step void refinement realm tribulation. Ning Fan inwardly speculated that after advancing to the void refinement realm, the heavenly tribulation would become even more terrifying with each advancement. Before advancing to the divine transformation realm, he could still look down on the heavenly tribulation. After advancing to the void refinement realm, perhaps even Ning Fan would have to make preparations to block the heavenly tribulation. When the tribulation clouds dispersed, Ning Fan let out a sigh of relief. He looked inside his profound Yin world and found that the soul of the steel of sun and moon had been completely restored. His eyes immediately burned with excitement. After exhausting the soul of the steel, he could summon the steel of sun and moon and display the strength of a void fragmentation realm attack. In this way, he would have some strength to protect himself in the hands of a void fragmentation realm old monster. However, as soon as this excitement rose, it immediately dissipated from his heart. Ning Fan descended outside the secret area. His eyes looked slightly solemn. He really wanted to know what exactly happened to Yu Lingkong that she could not even withstand the heavenly tribulation. "You are you alright?" "I'm alright, but..." A naked and beautiful figure limped out of the secret area. She was completely naked. Her black hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall. Her eyes were as bright as the moon and her skin was as pure as the moonlight. Her brows carried a hint of coldness and arrogance. Her appearance was mature, beautiful, and dignified. Her breasts were plump and her waist was slender. Her hair was adorned with a crescent moon ornament. Her body was emitting an early void refinement realm aura force. Her appearance was quite similar to Yu Lingkong's virgin body. However, she was much more beautiful than her second primordial spirit. "Are you Yu? Ning Fan was a little uncertain. The mature and peerlessly beautiful naked lady in front of him was Yu Lingkong? Wasn't Yu Lingkong a little girl with no breasts and no buttocks? Would she be so beautiful after growing up? Little cucumber. Of course it's me. Help me up." Yu Lingkong's pretty face turned pale. She almost fell to the ground. She actually could not even stand steadily. Ning Fan caught her in the nick of time and only then did she not fall to the ground. Sensing that Yu Lingkong's body was extremely weak, Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn and said, "What happened? Why is your body so weak?" "It's nothing serious. I have refined my second primordial spirit and recovered to the early void refinement realm. Furthermore, I managed to break through to the peak of the early void refinement realm in one go, almost reaching the mid-void refinement realm. I had a sudden urge to see if I could break through to the mid-void refinement realm in one go, but I failed. That's all, nonsense. Ning Fan's eyes darkened. The void refinement realm was not the same as the divine transformation realm or the nascent soul realm. Even if Yu Lingkong had recovered her cultivation base and even if her magic power was strong enough to break through to the next realm, she was still just a void glimpse stage cultivator after all. She had never experienced the void inquiry stage. No matter how much magic power she had, she would not be able to break through to the next level. If she forcefully breaks through to the next level, she would certainly fail. If that's not nonsense, then what is it? Void glimpse, void inquiry, void pierce, absolute void, and then void fragmentation realm. Every step must involve the comprehension of the void. None of them could be omitted. Alright. I was wrong, alright. Yu Lingkong's eyes slightly evaded Ning Fan's gaze. Initially, she thought that after she regained her strength, she could be domineering and be a head taller than Ning Fan. Unexpectedly, as soon as Ning Fan got angry, she immediately showed her weakness and did not even dare to talk back to him. Strange, strange. Yu Lingkong only felt that it was strange. This was not her style. What's wrong with me? I was obviously shouted at by Little Cucumber. Why do I feel a little happy? Could it be that my brain is damaged? Yu Lingkong's mind was in a mess. When she lowered her head, her beautiful eyes suddenly went blank. Only then did she realize that she was not wearing any clothes. All of her clothes were torn apart when her body became bigger, however, she was very calm and did not feel shy. She just grabbed Ning Fan's hand and placed it on her chest. How is it? Are my breasts big? I didn't lie to you, right? My body is especially good. Paying you back with my body is definitely your fortune. Ning Fan was speechless. Yu Lingkong was not an ordinary woman. She could not be judged by common sense. However, he had to admit that her breasts did feel good. They were very soft and bouncy. Do you want me to pay you back with my body? I will definitely fuck you until you want to die. Yu Lingkong was immensely pleased with herself and was eager to give it a try. No need. You should have a good rest. After you stabilize your cultivation base, accompany me to the Six-Winged Clan. Ning Fan shook his head. He was not that lustful to the point of fooling around with a woman who could not even stand properly. Even though he had to admit that. Yu Lingkong was extremely beautiful. Chapter 406. There was only 1 month left until the agreed time with Xian Yi. Yu Lingkong had no choice but to stay in the secret plane to recuperate from her injuries. She had failed to break through to the middle stage, so the backlash was not light. As for Ning Fan, he was not in a hurry to leave either. It was because Yu Lingkong had told him that after she recovers from her injuries, she was fully confident that she could bring him across the moon portals and reach the Six-Winged Clan in the shortest time possible. Yu Lingkong recovered her appearance and cultivation level. She seemed to have regained the confidence she had in the past. At this moment, she was confident that she could exterminate the Six-Winged Clan by herself. Yu Lingkong's second primordial spirit could already fight against 3 void refinement realm spiritual puppets at the same time. If she really killed her way into the Six-Winged Clan, Xian Yi might not be her match. The prerequisite was that she had to recover from her injuries and return to her peak condition. Yu Lingkong's naked body was sitting on a huge piece of cold jade in the Divine Space's secret ground. Her delicate body was enveloped in starlight. Ning Fan, on the other hand, controlled the power of the Black Star and sat cross-legged on his back to treat his injuries. His eyes, however, became increasingly solemn. After condensing 99 natal black stars, Ning Fan's star technique was so strong that even ordinary life immortal realm experts who had comprehended star techniques might not necessarily be able to match him. With this star force, injuries could be healed and essence blood could be replenished, but there were still things that couldn't be done. For example, the crack on Yulinkong's primordial spirit could not be sewn up using star power. Light. Danger. Danger. The female corpse raised her white hand and stood at the side. She pointed at Yulinkong's primordial spirit in her dantian and reminded her. Even the female corpse could tell that Yulinkong's primordial spirit's situation wasn't too good, it was a bit dangerous. Ning Fan naturally noticed it as well. While he was treating Yulinkong's injuries, he was also scolding her with a frown. Primordial spirit fission. Yulinkong, I really didn't know that you were such a bold woman in the past. Do you know how dangerous it is for the primordial spirit to split apart? Little cucumber. Don't think that just because you've helped me a few times that you can order me around. Ouch! Yulinkong subconsciously retorted. Immediately, her perky buttocks were heavily slapped by Ning Fan, causing her to cry out in pain. Immediately, a bright red palm print was left on her fair buttocks. In the midst of the pain, a trace of anger and shame spread endlessly in Yulinkong's heart. She was actually beaten. Moreover, he was beaten by Ning Fan. And the place he hit was her tender butt. Fuck. With Yulinkong's explosive temper, whoever dared to spank her, she would definitely chop that person into a human stick. If it was in the past, he would have already fought with Ning Fan to the death. This time, however, she actually did not fight back. Thinking about it carefully, it was no wonder that Ning Fan would be angry. It was extremely risky for her to devour her second primordial spirit and break through to the mid-void refinement realm without her permission. Putting aside the danger of breaking through to the mid-divine sense realm, Ning Fan would be able to cure her no matter how severe the backlash was. However, devouring a second primordial spirit was an extremely dangerous act for cultivators below the void refinement realm. However, a crack appeared on Yulinkong's primordial spirit. It was a sign that her primordial spirit was about to split apart. This crack wasn't an ordinary injury, and it couldn't be healed with the power of the Black Star. This was the sequela left behind when Yulinkong's primordial spirit fused with her second primordial spirit. The second nascent soul technique, as the name suggested, allowed a cultivator to cultivate two nascent souls within a single dantian, each independent of the other. There were pros and cons to being independent. The benefit was that the dual primordial spirit could be split into two, and it was extremely useful in battle. As for the drawbacks, Yulinkong was betrayed by her second primordial spirit. This was one of the drawbacks. With the experience of being betrayed by her second primordial spirit, Yulinkong did not try to subdue her second primordial spirit again. Instead, she directly devoured her second primordial spirit with a barbaric method and merged the two primordial spirits into one. The merging of primordial spirits was something that only peak void refinement realm cultivators of the absolute void stage could do. However, even absolute void stage cultivators could not guarantee that they would succeed. It was already extremely rare for Yulinkong to merge the two primordial spirits imperfectly. It was inevitable that a crack would be left between the two primordial spirits. If she doesn't get rid of this crack, she wouldn't be able to control her magic power freely. Moreover, as the crack expands, her primordial spirit would split apart in less than a month. Her cultivation base would fall back to its previous level and her primordial spirit would suffer irreversible damage. She might even die. Ning Fan's expression turned solemn. The crack in her primordial spirit was really troublesome. If Yulinkong couldn't be healed, she would suffer severe injuries. Ning Fan also didn't have anyone to open the moon portals and rush to the six-winged clan within a month. Seeing that Ning Fan was really displeased, Yulinkong rubbed her buttocks and gritted her teeth. In the end, she still didn't fight back. Detestable. How dare little cucumber hit me? If it wasn't because of Little Cucumber's sincere concern for me, I would definitely chop off his cucumber and eat it as a salad. Forget it. I'll forgive him this time. Yu Lingkong seemed to have suffered a grievance in silence. After she finished healing her injuries, she put on her clothes. Her sleeves fluttered in the wind and the ribbons of her skirt danced in the air. Her eyes were like moons, making her look like an ancient immortal concubine or a celestial being of the moon. However, there was also a valiant aura in her demeanor. Her injuries had fully healed, but something happened to her primordial spirit. Since she could not use her magic power, she naturally couldn't open the moon portals and travel through the hollow space. Seeing that Ning Fan was still frowning, not only did Yu Lingkong not fight back, but she also seemed to have given in. Little Cucumber, don't be angry anymore. Next time, I will discuss with you before I make a decision. Alright? Remember what you said. Don't do it again. Hurry up and get ready. Your primordial spirit can't be delayed any longer. I will think of a way to bring you to the Six-Winged Clan within a month and borrow the power of the revival platform to help you stitch up your primordial spirit. It shouldn't be difficult. Ning Fan said firmly. There's no need to go through so much trouble. I know a place with a kind of spiritual item that can help me stitch up my primordial spirit. Besides, that place is only 1 billion li away from the Divine Space Sea. With your speed, it will only take you 10 days to bring me to that island. In the remaining time, after I recover to my peak, I will bring you to open the moon portals and travel through the hollow space. Reaching the Six-Winged Clan is just a matter of a blink of an eye. No one below the void fragmentation realm can catch up to the speed of my moon portals. As for the revival platform, I'll leave it to that cucumber woman. Her sea of consciousness has yet to recover and she is in a worse state than me. Yu Lingkong looked at the female corpse with a hint of pity in her eyes. After all, she had been with the female corpse for a long time and had gone through life and death together. Thus, she still had some feelings for her. Besides, Yu Lingkong was not a fool. Since she dared to devour her second primordial spirit, she naturally had a backup plan. She was confident that she could stitch up her primordial spirit without leaving any future troubles. The injury she suffered this time was just a reckless act to break through the bottleneck of the mid-nascent soul realm. Devouring her second primordial spirit was definitely part of her plan. Therefore, it was actually very unfair for her to be spanked by Ning Fan. However, she actually did not return the slap to Ning Fan. It was really not her style. Moreover, she actually admitted defeat. Something must be wrong with her brain. Which island is it? What spiritual item is there that can cure the injury of your primordial spirit? Ning Fan's furrowed brows slightly relaxed. It's the Thunder Bamboo Island, a subordinate force of the Zhou clan. On this island, there is a type of thunder bamboo. Its bamboo leaves have a special effect on nourishing one's primordial spirit according to their medicinal age. Even the cracks on my primordial spirit can be healed. Thunder bamboo, huh? Ning Fan frowned slightly, revealing a disapproving expression. He had naturally heard of the thunder bamboo before. However, he did not think that it could cure Yu Lingkong. As a matter of fact, before he entered the internal endless sea, he had already inquired about the Thunder Bamboo Island. The Thunder Bamboo was a kind of mysterious spiritual item of heaven and earth. It grew in places where tens of thousands of lightning bolts intersected with each other. After being nourished by the power of lightning for a long time, it would give birth to a spirit. The bamboo leaves produced by it had the effect of nourishing one's primordial spirit. However, the ordinary thunder bamboo was just at the silver grade. It could only nourish the primordial spirit of a divine transformation realm cultivator at most. As for Yu Lingkong's primordial spirit, it might not necessarily be able to be healed with the help of the thunder bamboo. With that thought in mind, Ning Fan did not think that going to the Thunder Bamboo Island could cure the injury of Yu Lingkong's primordial spirit. Moreover, the Thunder Bamboo Island belonged to the Zhou clan. The foundation of the Zhou clan was too deep. Even Ning Fan was quite fearful of them. A thunder sovereign of the Zhou clan could be on equal footing with the Rain Palace even if he dies. The third elder of the Zhou clan could make 2 void refinement realm experts of the Rain Palace fearful even if he did not show himself. Ning Fan did not know about the foundation of the Ghost Eye clan, but the Zhou clan was definitely not a force he could afford to offend. If it's not necessary, he did not want to have any entanglement with the Zhou clan. If it's necessary, he could also go to the Thunder Bamboo Island once for Yulinkong's sake. However, the medicinal power of the silver bamboo was too weak. The silver bamboo can't cure you. After a long time, Ning Fan shook his head and said, "Who says that I'm going to use the silver bamboo to heal my injuries? I'm one of the venerated 8 of the internal sea. I have the right to enjoy the bamboo leaves of the golden bamboo of the Thunder Bamboo Island. Don't you know that? The venerated experts of the internal sea are subordinates of the Thunder Sovereign. They can receive a piece of golden bamboo's bamboo leaf every 10 years. Other than that, as long as you have enough immortal jade, you can also purchase a sufficient amount of golden leaves." Yulinkong's eyes were filled with pride. She was sure that Ning Fan did not know about the secret of the golden bamboo. The existence of the golden bamboo had always been kept a secret. Other than the supreme beings of the internal sea, only the void refinement realm experts of the Zhou clan had the right to consume it. The grade of the golden bamboo was far above the silver bamboo. It could heal the primordial spirit injuries of void refinement realm experts. It was really a rare treasure. She especially emphasized the word 8 to remind Ning Fan that he had made a name for himself after all. He was respected as the 8th venerated being of the internal sea. Besides, his reputation was also tacitly approved by the Zhou clan. Ning Fan also had the right to enjoy the golden leaves. However, it had not been 10 years since he became one of the 8 venerated beings of the internal sea. Thus, he could not get the golden leaves for free. Most likely, he would have to pay a price to purchase some. Golden bamboo, huh? Ning Fan nodded his head. If the Thunder Bamboo Island really has golden bamboos, he could bring Yulinkong there. With Ning Fan's full speed, he could reach there in 10 days. 10 days later, they arrived at Thunder Bamboo Island. As long as she obtains enough golden leaves to help Yulinkong recover to her peak state, she would naturally be able to open the moon portals and bring Ning Fan to the Six-Winged Clan. At that time, he could also borrow the power of the revival platform to repair the female corpse's sea of consciousness. As such, Ning Fan almost no longer had any objections about heading to the Thunder Bamboo Island. In the deepest part of the secret place where the Xian Wei Bloody Gourd was kept, Ning Fan set up layers of formation techniques. Layers of formation techniques with the lowest grade being at the Divine Transformation Realm had concealed all the chi of the Bloody Gourd to prevent Void Fragmentation Realm experts from accidentally entering this place and discovering the Bloody Gourd. Other than the few Void Fragmentation Realm cultivators in the Rain World, no Void Refinement Realm cultivators could penetrate the Moon Mist and reach the Divine Space Island. As for Void Fragmentation Realm experts, they probably wouldn't come to the Divine Space Sea out of boredom. Since the Profound Radiance Bloody Gourd was hidden in this place, no one would take it away. 10 years later, the blood wine would be brewed. At that time, Ning Fan could take away the blood gourd and his magic power would skyrocket. After hiding the Bloody Gourd properly, Ning Fan spread his wings and carried the female corpse and Yulinkong with him. Then, he turned into wisps of smoke and flew out of the Divine Space Sea. They came in a hurry and left in a miserable manner. The moonlight became even more desolate. Within the next 10 years, Ning Fan would not return to this place. As for Yulinkong, she would probably never return to this sad place again in her life. The female corpse was quiet while Yulinkong was deep in thought. The two ladies remained silent in Ning Fan's embrace. Ning Fan secretly glanced at Yulinkong and was inwardly surprised. This ferocious woman actually has times when she is quiet. He always felt that after helping Yulinkong recover her body this time, his relationship with her seemed to have changed faintly. He could not explain it clearly. If he must describe this change, it would be that Yu Lingkong became a little more obedient. It's unimaginable, 10 days passed. Ning Fan split the waves and traveled at an extremely fast speed, scaring many cultivators along the way. Outside the Thunder Bamboo Island, he stopped his movement light and put the two ladies down. Then, he stood in midair. The Thunder Bamboo Island was not sealed, but the formation light was activated. The formation light was not strong. It only had the ability to sense the surroundings. However, it made the cultivators who came and went feel fearful. As for Ning Fan, he did not break the grand formation recklessly and forcefully barge into the island like he usually did. When it was time to restrain himself, he would naturally restrain himself a little. He and the two ladies descended on the Thunder Bamboo Island. As soon as they stepped on the island, more than 10 cultivators who were guarding the island immediately walked up to them. Halt your steps. The silver bamboos on the Lightning Bamboo Island have already been sold out. If you're here for the lightning bamboo, then please leave quickly. Strange, truly strange. Ning Fan frowned. He had just arrived on the island, and before he could even state his purpose of coming, the other party had already asked him to leave. Even though this group of cultivators of the Thunder Bamboo Island had yet to see Ning Fan's appearance clearly, they must have sensed his divine transformation realm cultivation base. However, even though they knew that Ning Fan was a divine transformation realm cultivator, they still dared to chase him away. It was rather overbearing. Besides, Ning Fan was not the only one who was expelled from the island. Many Gold Core realm cultivators, Primordial Spirit realm cultivators, and even Divine Transformation realm old monsters were asked to leave the Thunder Bamboo Island. But because the Zhou clan was powerful, no one dared to disobey. I didn't come here for the silver bamboo but for the golden bamboo. Ning Fan stood with his hands clasped behind his back and said indifferently. Golden bamboo? As soon as they heard Ning Fan's words, the expressions of the 10+ cultivators from the Thunder Bamboo sect changed. They carefully scrutinized Ning Fan's appearance. When they looked at Yu Lingkong again, their expressions changed drastically. 8 Venerables of the Internal Sea. Venerables Ming and Yu. Venerables Ming and Yu, please forgive us for our rudeness. As soon as the 10+ cultivators recognized Ning Fan and Yu Lingkong's identities, their faces were filled with fear. However, even though they were fearful, they still blocked Ning Fan's path and showed no intention of letting them pass. Venerables Ming and Yu, please allow me to report. Our Thunder Bamboo Island has some important matters to deal with, and we need to seal the island for a year. With Venerables Ming and Yu's identities, you naturally have the right to obtain the golden leaf. However, the situation is special. I implore the 2 venerables to leave and come to the island again 1 year later. We must prepare the golden leaf and wait for you. Oh. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. This group of cultivators had recognized his and Yu Lingkong's identities, but they still wanted to chase them away. It seemed like the timing of his visit to the Thunder Bamboo Island was indeed a little inopportune. The reason why the Zhou clan wanted to seal the island even at the risk of offending Ning Fan was probably quite significant. However, it was really difficult for Ning Fan to wait for a year before obtaining the golden leaf. He could wait for a year, but Yu Lingkong could not. Without the golden leaf, Yu Lingkong's primordial spirit would disintegrate after another 20 days. What should I do? Yu Lingkong frowned. She longed for the golden leaf, but she could also see that the situation of the Thunder Bamboo Island was special. I can't enter the island and I can't barge into it openly. I'll just sneak in, Ning Fan did not explain. He turned around and was about to leave. He faintly sensed that there were 4 Void Refinement Realm spirit senses nervously locking onto him. Among them, there was even a Mid-Void Refinement Realm spirit sense. These Void Refinement Realm spirit senses were certainly the experts of the Zhou clan. Besides, they certainly knew that Ning Fan had 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets with him. They were worried that Ning Fan would get hot-headed and barge into the Thunder Bamboo Island forcefully. If that's the case, the 4 of them would certainly attack Ning Fan. Ning Fan's expression remained unchanged as if he did not notice those Void Refinement Realm auras at all. He did not want to offend the Zhou clan openly, but he had a way to barge into the Thunder Bamboo Island privately. The Heaven-Deceiving Cloak. With this item, he could pretend to leave first. Then, he would wrap up his cloak and sneak into the Thunder Bamboo Island with the two ladies. Who below the Void Fragmentation Realm would know that Ning Fan had been here? Seeing Ning Fan turn around and leave after being chased away, the four Void Refinement Realm cultivators of the Zhou clan who were hiding in the dark heaved a sigh of relief. If it's not necessary, they would not be willing to offend Ning Fan. The female corpse's eyes were still calm, but Yu Lingkong had a hint of disappointment. She had seen Ning Fan fly into a rage because of too many women. However, when it was her turn, Ning Fan behaved so calmly. If he could not enter the island, he would not enter it. He turned around and left without any hesitation. It was as if he did not care about her life or death at all in order to not offend the Zhou clan. He did not even try to argue with those cultivators of the Thunder Bamboo Island. Ridiculous. Why am I disappointed? Why should I be disappointed? The Zhou clan is so powerful. It's normal for Little Cucumber to not want to offend them. I've just slept with him once. I'm not related to him at all. What right do I have to be disappointed? She revealed a self-mocking sneer and left with Ning Fan. Her heart, however, gradually turned cold. Only when they were 1,000,000 li away from the Thunder Bamboo Island did she stop moving. All of a sudden, she said coldly, I, Yu Lingkong, will always remember the favor of helping the Divine Space Island. The mountains are high and the rivers are long. We'll meet again someday. Swish that she turned around in such a calm manner. She actually wanted to part ways with Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes revealed a strange expression. He grabbed Yu Lingkong's wrist. It was impossible for him to let her go. You want to leave? Where are you going? Where I go has nothing to do with you. Yu Lingkong cursed. Why does it have nothing to do with me? I'm even going to bring you to the Thunder Bamboo Island to steal bamboo leaves. Why? Don't you want to treat the injuries of your primordial spirit? Ning Fan was speechless. He could smell a sour smell from Yu Lingkong's body. It was even more sour than aged vinegar. The more heroic a woman was, the scarier she would be when she gets jealous. Steal bamboo leaves. Little Cucumber, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand what you're saying? Yu Lingkong was stunned. Before she could figure out what was going on, she saw Ning Fan summoning his black cloak with an idea. Then, he pulled her and the female corpse into his embrace and covered them with the cloak. In an instant, the three figures disappeared into thin air. This is a mysterious god concealment spiritual equipment. It was a concealment spiritual equipment that only Void Fragmentation Realm old monsters could refine. What do you want to do? You want to go to Thunder Bamboo Island to steal bamboo leaves? You're crazy. What if the Zhou clan finds out? Yu Lingkong and her companion were stunned. No, as Yu Lingkong's companion, the female corpse had always been in a daze. Who would know? Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. There was still a sentence that he did not say. So what if he knew? He just didn't want to become enemies with the Zhou clan, but even if he did, he wasn't necessarily afraid. Don't worry in the future. I won't leave you in the lurch. Jealousy is not a good behavior. Ning Fan turned into a ray of traveling light that was extremely stealthy and stealthily floated back to the direction of the Thunder Bamboo Island. From a hidden place, a woman's voice could be heard, sharp and filled with disbelief. Jealous? I will be jealous. Little Cucumber, you think too highly of yourself. You're the one who's jealous, your whole family are pickled cucumbers. After scolding him, Yu Lingkong calmed down. But soon after, he began to worry. Little Cucumber was risking his life by stealing the bamboo leaves. Once he was discovered by the Void Refinement Realm experts of the Bamboo Island, he would certainly be hunted down by the 4 Void Refinement Realm experts. Currently, Yu Lingkong could not use her magic power. She was not sure if Ning Fan and his 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets would be able to stop the 4 experts of the Thunder Bamboo Island if their act of stealing is exposed. It's a little dangerous. Yu Lingkong was a little nervous. But for some reason, she felt a little happy. At least Little Cucumber did not abandon her. He even dared to steal something from the Zhou clan for her sake. The more I look at this Little Cucumber, the more I like him. Chapter 407. Ning Fan concealed all of his qi and activated the heaven-deceiving cloak to its maximum. Then, he snuck into the Thunder Bamboo Island without anyone knowing. Profound Divinity spiritual equipment was at the Void Fragmentation grade. In terms of concealment techniques alone, Ning Fan could really be considered as the #1 person below the Void Fragmentation realm in the Rain world. The cultivators of the Thunder Bamboo sect brushed past Ning Fan one after another. However, none of them knew where he was. The 4 traces of Void Refinement Realm spirit sense scanned across the entire island like lighthouses. However, none of them could detect Ning Fan's presence. In the central zone of Thunder Bamboo Island, within 10,000 miles, it was clearly a sunny day, but it was filled with countless thunderbolts. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Within 10,000 miles, there were tens of thousands of silver thunder bamboos. The bamboo branches were empty and there weren't many silver leaves. Most of the silver leaves had already been plucked and consumed. The bamboo leaves were sparse, and there were only about 10,000 silver leaves in the 10,000 miles of bamboo forest. He might as well steal something. Ning Fan might as well steal the silver leaf. However, after searching around the bamboo forest, he was unable to find any place where golden bamboos grew. Within 10,000 miles, there was only a sea of silvery bamboo. There was not the slightest hint of golden bamboo. There are no golden bamboos on the island? Ning Fan was puzzled and asked using telepathy. I don't know. The Thunder Bamboo Island's bamboo forest has always not allowed outsiders to enter, and there is even a great formation that prevents people from prying into it. In the past, when the 7 venerables of the Internal Sea came here to ask for the golden leaves, there would always be someone plucking them on their behalf. Even I do not know where the golden bamboos grow. However, I am certain that the Thunder Bamboo Island definitely has golden bamboos. Yu Lingkong spoke with certainty. Is that so? Ning Fan fell into deep thought. If the golden bamboo is not on the Thunder Bamboo Island, where else could it be? Or could it be that this Thunder Bamboo Island is similar to the Divine Space Island, and there's a secret abode hidden within? As soon as he thought of this, before he could start searching for the hidden cave, the female corpse under the cloak raised her slender finger and pointed at a giant bamboo in the middle of the bamboo forest. Light. Entrance. The female corpse could tell that there was a heavenly grotto heaven hidden in this place. She even found the entrance of the heavenly grotto heaven. Ning Fan was inwardly surprised. The spiritual intelligence of the female corpse was gradually recovering. Her technique seemed to be getting more and more powerful. At the very least, Ning Fan knew that even if he activates his Fu Li Eye, it would not be so easy for him to find the entrance of a heavenly dwelling in this vast bamboo forest. Yu Lingkong was even more astonished. The female corpse, who had always been slow and stupid, actually had such astonishing eyesight. She could see through the hidden cave with just a glance. Ning Fan activated his Fu Li Eye and took a closer look. Sure enough, that gigantic bamboo was the entrance to a heavenly dwelling. From the entrance, one could faintly feel a trace of golden qi. There must be a large number of golden bamboos growing inside. Not bad. Wei-Liang has improved. You're getting stronger and stronger. Ning Fan stroked the black hair of the female corpse and praised her generously. After receiving Ning Fan's praise, the female corpse's eyes lit up. She opened her small mouth and bit Ning Fan's arm. Her sharp teeth left 2 small wounds on his arm. Her face was slightly red, but she wasn't shy. Corpse demons were not shy and did not have any physiological reactions. Rumor had it that when corpse demons blushed, it was usually because their stomachs were empty. Corpse demons would usually eat people they liked in one bite. The female corpse liked Ning Fan, and that was why she wanted to eat him. Even though she faintly understood that Ning Fan was very important to her and she could not eat him. At most, she could only bite him once. After being bitten by the female corpse, Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. The way corpse demons expressed their feelings was really unique. The small wounds were not a problem at all. They were instantly healed by the power of the Black Star. Some corpse poison was also not a problem. Ning Fan had also cultivated the corpse devil record and became a corpse devil. Why would he be afraid of corpse poison? What he did not know was that the most fatal thing was the trace of blood that lingered in the air. Fortunately, there were no outsiders in this place. Moreover, he had already stopped the bleeding and dispersed the smell. Thus, he was not worried that someone would notice him. Ning Fan's eyes fell on the gigantic bamboo and he pondered carefully. Even though he had found the entrance to the heavenly dwelling, this heavenly dwelling was rather special. The method to enter seemed to be a little complicated. He could not just barge in directly. The gigantic bamboo was as thick as 3 people who would need to encircle it. It shone with dazzling silver light and lightning flashed around it. Ning Fan studied the gigantic bamboo and formed hand seals. He tried a few hand seals to open the secret place, but none of them could enter the heavenly dwelling. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. The smell of his blood had just dissipated. All of a sudden, an unexpected red shadow flashed and appeared beside the gigantic bamboo. It carried a void refinement realm aura force. That red shadow was a lady in red robes. When Ning Fan took a closer look, his face was filled with surprise. The lady's appearance was actually 70 to 80% similar to a lady whom Ning Fan knew. Ning Honghong, who lived in the demon sinister forest. However, there was still a difference between this lady and Ning Honghong. Ning Honghong was just a gold core realm ghost while this lady was at the early void refinement realm. Even though Ning Honghong was a malicious ghost, she did not kill many people. However, this lady in red robes faintly revealed a trace of baleful qi which actually made Ning Fan's heart tremble. Ning Fan's expression changed. This lady in red robes must have killed more people than me in her entire life. Even though this lady was just at the early void refinement realm, the sense of danger she gave Ning Fan was far above that of Yu Linkong's second primordial spirit. Who is this lady? Could she be an expert of the Zhou clan? Blood. Who's there? Show yourself. The lady in red robes waved her hand. Her eyes seemed to be dyed with blood and her baleful qi was overwhelming. Even the female corpse who had the body of a corpse devil and Yu Linkong who had the dignity of an overlord could not withstand the baleful qi of this lady. They were about to reveal themselves. At the critical moment, Ning Fan channeled his magic power into the bodies of the 2 ladies while he used his baleful qi to resist the baleful qi of the lady in red robes. Under the pressure of the lady's baleful qi, the 3 of them did not reveal themselves or expose their qi. Perhaps it was because she was extremely confident in her baleful qi. The lady in red robes looked around coldly and no longer tried to probe further. There should be no outsiders in this place. That trace of blood scent was probably mixed with the sea breeze. If someone is hiding in this place, even if that person is a void refinement realm expert, he or she would also be forced to reveal themselves. She had this confidence. Humph. Is it just an illusion? The lady's fingers moved rapidly and formed lightning seals. Traces of silver lightning arcs appeared on her fingertips. After forming the mysterious and repetitive hand seals, the lady walked 3 rounds around the gigantic bamboo. She looked at the time of the day and chose the direction of Chen hour. Then, she took a step into the gigantic bamboo. At the next moment, she had already entered the hidden heavenly dwelling. Little cucumber, remember this hand seal. This is the way to enter the heavenly dwelling. Yu Lingkong reminded him. I already know the method. Let's wait for a while. We'll go in after this lady has gone far away. Ning Fan said cautiously. Even though he had the heaven-deceiving cloak to conceal himself, he still waited for the lady to go far away before entering the body of the bamboo in order to be safe. After about 4 hours, Ning Fan thought that the lady had already gone far away. He also formed hand seals and imitated the lady in red robes. He did not make a single lightning seal, but his hand seals were surrounded by blood-red lightning arcs. After walking 3 rounds around the gigantic bamboo, Ning Fan raised his head and looked at the time of the day. However, he did not enter the direction of Chen hour. Instead, he entered the direction of Wu hour. The direction is wrong, Yu Lingkong said with surprise. She clearly saw the lady enter the direction of Chen hour. That's right. This heavenly dwelling has a total of 3 layers of mortal void realm formations to conceal it. The first layer of formation needs to be broken with a special lightning seal. The second layer of formation needs to go around 3 times. It's a circular formation. The third layer of formation is the seasonal formation. It's considered as a type of heavenly formation which is related to astronomical phenomena. The lady entered the formation at Chen hour. Thus, she entered the direction of Chen hour. As for now, it's Wu hour. Ning Fan did not say anything else. After explaining to this point, Yu Lingkong naturally understood. Yu Lingkong's eyes were filled with amazement. Inwardly, she thought that Ning Fan's cultivation base in the Tao of formations is a little too terrifying. He actually saw through the 3 layers of mortal void realm formations here. He's really a monster. If it wasn't for the fact that Ning Fan did not know about the special lightning seal of the first layer of formation, he would have already broken the formation and entered the hidden heavenly dwelling before the lady in red robes arrived. Let's go. Be careful. This lady is a little strong. Don't expose yourself. Once anything happens in the heavenly dwelling, I will put the 2 of you into my cauldron ring and escape on my own to ensure your safety. Of course, under normal circumstances, there won't be any unexpected changes. Ning Fan was still very confident in his heaven-deceiving cloak. Moreover, he still had the void fragmentation realm attack of the steel of sun and moon. Since his trump card was strong enough, he naturally became more courageous. He analyzed the lady in red robes. Although she was at the early void refinement realm, her strength was probably already comparable to a mid-void refinement realm expert. However, since she could not withstand the attack of the steel of sun and moon, there was no need to worry. After making up his mind, Ning Fan took a step forward and entered the heavenly dwelling of the giant bamboo in the direction of Wu hour. Inside the heavenly dwelling of the giant bamboo, the vast sky flickered faintly. Then, everything returned to silence. Even though he had entered the heavenly dwelling, he could not force Ning Fan to reveal himself. The heaven-deceiving cloak is indeed useful. Ning Fan carefully spread out his spirit sense. After discovering that there was no trace of the lady in red robes within 100,000 li, he felt slightly relieved. Looking into the distance, this heavenly dwelling of the giant bamboo was at least tens of millions of li wide. Above the vast sky, there was a golden sea of lightning surging. On the ground, there were gigantic golden bamboos. Each of them was 10,000 zhang tall and occupied an area of a few mu. They stood upright like sharp peaks that pierced through the sky. On the golden bamboos, there were rarely any golden leaves. It seemed like they had already been plucked by someone. Within 100,000 li, there were only slightly more than 10 golden leaves left. Based on this deduction, there would at most only be a few thousand golden leaves in the area of tens of millions of li. If all the golden bamboos in this place were fully grown with bamboo leaves, there would naturally be more than a few thousand of them. A few thousand golden leaves were just a drop in the ocean when the bamboo forest was flourishing. Even so, treating Yu Lingkong's injuries with a few thousand golden leaves was more than enough. No, why would she need a few thousand golden leaves? Initially, Yu Lingkong only planned to ask for 10 golden leaves from the Thunder Bamboo Island to treat her injuries. If she obtains all of the golden leaves, she would be able to cure the injuries of her primordial spirit. As for the remaining ones, she could use them to help Luo Yu recover her cultivation base. Unfortunately, the medicinal power of these golden leaves was too strong. Refining each of them would require more than 10 types of 10,000 years old spiritual herbs to harmonize them. With the remaining 10,000 years old spiritual herbs that Ning Fan had, it would at most be enough to harmonize 100 golden leaves. Even if he wanted to help Luo Yu recover her cultivation base, he might not have the ability to do so. How many should I steal? Yu Lingkong was tempted. Her words were concise and to the point. After all, no one would find out that they were here to steal something. Thus, it would naturally be better to steal as many as possible. I'll steal all of them. Are you satisfied? Ning Fan smiled. Yes. Little cucumber, I really didn't misjudge you. Let's split it 50-50. Yu Lingkong raised both her hands in agreement. 50-50, Ning Fan was speechless. This Yu Lingkong was really demanding an exorbitant price. Stealing all of them. 50-50. How could she think of that? It's too dangerous to steal all of them. That woman might find out about it. Besides, the spiritual herbs that I have are only enough to harmonize 100 golden leaves. It's useless to take them. If you really want to steal all of them, you will still have the chance to sneak into this place in the future. As for the 50-50 split, these golden leaves are useful to me. Except for the ones that are used to treat your injuries, I want to keep the rest. Are they really useful? Yes. Alright then. I'll believe you this time. I'll give you all of these golden leaves. However, you owe me a favor. You have to remember it. Ning Fan was speechless. He had helped Yu Lingkong steal the golden leaves. Why was he still the one who owed her in the end? What you owe me must be repaid with your body. Yu Lingkong added. Alright. Ning Fan no longer quarreled with her. Repaying with my body, huh? It's not a loss for me to repay her with my body, is it? While walking through the gigantic golden bamboo forest, Ning Fan repeatedly took action and obtained quite a number of golden leaves. After counting, there were already 100 of them. It was about time for him to leave. If he continues to stay here and other unforeseen events occur, it would not be worth it. However, he did not expect that a lady in red robes was also hiding in the dark. When she saw the golden leaves disappearing mysteriously, her brows finally turned cold. She had already confirmed that someone had followed her into this place. However, she was not sure of the identity of the person who came. Thus, she did not expose Ning Fan. What is the cultivation base of the person who came? This person seems to be strange. Chapter 408. The woman in red calmly watched as the golden leaves disappeared one by one. She was even more puzzled about the identity of the newcomer. What is the cultivation of this newcomer? There is something strange about this person. If it's just a void refinement realm cultivator or even a divine transformation realm cultivator, how could I not see through his disguise? If it was a void fragmentation expert, I certainly wouldn't be able to see through it. But which void fragmentation expert in the rain world would hide their head but show their tail to steal a mere golden bamboo leaf? If we want to steal something, it should be the dark gold bamboo leaves from the small Kiliacosm. This is not logical. If this person isn't a void fragmentation realm expert, then is he a void refinement realm cultivator? A void refinement realm cultivator is able to evade the detection of my spirit sense. This person's concealment technique is quite brilliant. If I can make him my own, he might be of some use to me. But, what's his background? Could he be an assassin from the Rain Palace? I don't know why, but I feel that this person's aura is a little familiar, as if I've seen him somewhere before. In the past, my physical body was destroyed and my primordial spirit was divided into 10,000 Thundergrass clones to deceive the world. Now, all 10,000 Thundergrass have been retrieved and I have gained 10,000 memories out of thin air. Among them, 9,999 were memories of plants and trees. However, one of them had accidentally transformed into a ghost body. As for my 10,000 spirits as one, that divine transformation realm Thundergrass clone was the main one, Ning Honghong. It's about time for me to abandon this identity. I just need to erase those unimportant memories. Otherwise, my sea of consciousness will definitely collapse due to the 10,000 Daos memories and 10,000 Daos consciousness. The red-clad woman waved her hand, and silver lightning crackled. Then, she touched the sea of consciousness above her head, and the memories of the mortal world vanished like smoke in thin air. She didn't need those memories. She didn't need to remember that there was a period of time when she went by the name of Ning Honghong. She had an even more respected identity. If this person is only at the void refinement realm but he possesses such a heaven-defying concealment technique, I can join forces with him to obtain the dark golden bamboo leaf of that small kiliacosm. Looks like this person seems to be extremely interested in mere golden leaves. I can give all the golden leaves of this world to this person, and he will definitely submit to me wholeheartedly and work for me. Of course, the prerequisite is that this person has to provide me with enough dark gold leaves. The lady in red robes took a step forward and appeared beside Ning Fan. If he doesn't know what's good for him, I don't mind using some methods to make him regret it. She was also invisible, and her concealment skills were not bad either. She could not see Ning Fan and he could not see her. She could sense Ning Fan's presence and Ning Fan could also sense that a vague qi was approaching them. He could naturally guess that the one who approached him was the woman in red who had entered this world first. However, Ning Fan could not help but feel a little astonished. The reason why he could conceal himself so well was because of the heaven-deceiving cloak. What kind of supreme treasure did this woman rely on? Her concealment ability was actually not any weaker than his. Or was this woman proficient in the art of concealment? He vaguely understood that this woman had discovered him. He had to leave as soon as possible to avoid any unforeseen events. Unfortunately, before he could do anything, the woman in red suddenly appeared. Her murderous aura was shocking, and her blood-red eyes swept across the empty space in front of her. Intruder, show yourself. Otherwise, I'll seal the golden lightning grotto heaven so that you won't be able to return. Boom! The red-clothed woman waved her hand. Immediately, heavenly lightning surged, and the world rumbled as if it was going to collapse. She seemed to be the master of this grotto heaven. All of a sudden, she summoned countless golden lightning bolts and turned them into lightning chains, sealing all the exits of the grotto heaven. Ning Fan's heart sank. The red-clothed woman's attacks were as fast as lightning. With just a casual attack, she had already sealed all of his escape routes. He did not know the identity of this woman and he did not plan to show himself obediently. He had already obtained 100 golden leaves which were enough to treat Yu Linkong's injuries and could also help Luo Yu recover a lot of primordial spirit power. What's the point of staying here? The lightning chains that filled the sky seemed to be terrifying but Ning Fan was not afraid of them. He had the wind mist finger. The lightning grotto heaven might be able to stop ordinary void refinement realm experts but it could not stop Ning Fan's footsteps. This place was a place where he could come and go as he pleased. He could easily go to the dangerous places of the rain world. Ning Fan's figure flew backward. His body was surrounded by faint golden-purple wind mist. When the wind blew the golden lightning grotto heaven, the golden-purple wind mist descended upon heaven and earth. It was like a murmur from the ancient times, returning everything to ashes and dust to dust. That kind of terrifying samsara power was enough to bury everything. Countless lightning bolts and wind melted and died in the samsara cycle. Even the tightly sealed heavenly grotto heaven had no choice but to melt a gap. The cold eyes of the red-robed woman flashed with surprise. That golden-purple wind mist gave her a familiar yet fearful feeling. She did not expect that Ning Fan would have such a terrifying technique which could melt everything. He was about to escape. She did not care about some mere golden bamboo leaves. However, without Ning Fan, it would be difficult for her to obtain many dark golden bamboo leaves in the next world. From the looks of it, she needed to use other things to threaten Ning Fan to stay. Since one plan failed, another plan was devised. The blood-red eyes of the red-robed woman moved. She could vaguely tell that Ning Fan must have an extremely important reason for entering this place to steal the golden leaves despite the risk of offending the Zhou clan. In other words, the golden bamboo leaves were Ning Fan's weakness. Since she knew Ning Fan's weakness, she had a way to force Ning Fan to show himself and help her. The process might be a little despicable, but, so what? Even if you run away, it's all in vain. I can shatter all the golden leaves in this world with just a single thought. You should know that every single golden leaf in this place has been engraved with my spirit sense. If you still don't show yourself and meet me, don't blame me for activating my spirit sense to shatter all the golden leaves. You know the consequences. What? Ning Fan's heart skipped a beat. He activated his Fu Li eye and took a closer look. There was indeed an extremely well-concealed spirit sense talisman on the golden leaves. Not only the golden leaves, but even the silver leaves that grow in the outside world also had imprints on them. The red-robed woman did not lie, nor was she joking. At the next moment, she activated her spirit sense and the 100 golden leaves in Ning Fan's hand trembled violently. Then, all of them turned into golden ashes and vanished into nothingness. The red-robed woman was also a decisive person. Even though the golden leaves were not very useful to her, they were still somewhat valuable. However, in order to make Ning Fan stay, she did not mind shattering 100 golden leaves to show her deterrence. If Ning Fan still does not show himself, she would activate her spirit sense again to shatter all the golden leaves in this place, making Ning Fan's wish fail and preventing him from rescuing the others. Perhaps in the end, the woman would not be able to force Ning Fan to show himself. However, Ning Fan would not be able to obtain even half of the golden leaves and save Yu Lingkong no matter what. Let's go. This woman is not simple. She seems to have some ulterior motives towards you. Yu Lingkong sent a telepathic message to Ning Fan with a frown. Compared to her own injuries, she was more worried that Ning Fan would fall into the woman's trap. She could vaguely tell that the woman's motive for forcing Ning Fan to show himself was not pure. If I leave just like that, what are you going to do? Ning Fan's eyes darkened. After a moment of hesitation, he made up his mind. He descended to the ground and flicked his sleeve, removing his cloak and revealing his true appearance. At the same time, he patted his storage pouch and took out 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets, trying to scare the red-robed woman a little. You've won. Ning Fan's face sank. For the sake of Yu Lingkong's injuries, he did not dare to let the red-robed woman shatter all the golden leaves in this place. Looking at the woman's appearance, which was similar to Ning Honghong's, Ning Fan became even more confused. Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. 3 of them. Not bad. They are refined from realm beasts. Unfortunately, they are just half-finished products. Otherwise, just these 3 spiritual puppets are more than enough to topple the Rain world. The red-robed woman glanced at the 3 spiritual puppets with cold eyes and nodded slightly as a form of approval. Then, she glanced at the female corpse and Yu Lingkong. With just a glance at Yu Lingkong, she could immediately tell that her primordial spirit was injured. She thought to herself that the reason why Ning Fan stole the golden leaves must be for this woman. When she glanced at the female corpse, she was startled. She vaguely felt that the female corpse looked familiar. However, her memory had already been erased. She could not remember who the female corpse was. She thought to herself that the female corpse and I are probably just memories of the mortal world. But I don't care. The mortal world is like smoke. Why do I need to look back? If she doesn't erase her memory, her sea of consciousness would collapse when the 10,000 Tao of consciousness and the 10,000 Tao of consciousness merge into one. Eventually, the red-robed woman's gaze fell on Ning Fan. She was greatly surprised. Half-step void refinement realm? He isn't even at the early void refinement realm? She did not expect that an expert who could block her spirit sense was actually not even at the void refinement realm. She thought that he would at least be at the peak void refinement realm. I only came here to ask for the golden leaves. If you have any requests, just tell me. Ning Fan frowned. His words carried a hint of pleading. He had no choice. Yu Lingkong needed the golden leaves to save her life. Whether the golden leaves would be destroyed or not depended on the red-robed woman's will. If he wants to take the golden leaves to treat Yu Lingkong's injuries, he must first obtain her permission. If she refuses to give him the golden leaves, Ning Fan would not mind activating his steel of sun and moon to suppress her with a single strike and take the golden leaves by force. Even though it was a pity to use the void fragmentation realm attack of the steel of sun and moon. This red-robed woman looked quite similar to Ning Honghong, which made Ning Fan want to find out more about her. However, it was a matter of life and death. Ning Fan had no way out. In order to save Yu Lingkong, he must use the golden leaves. At most, Ning Fan would hold back his strength and not kill this woman. He would capture her for the time being and slowly investigate the relationship between her and Ning Honghong in the future. Yu Lingkong bit her lips and pulled Ning Fan away. She was very annoyed. She did not like to see Ning Fan beg others. In her memory, Ning Fan rarely begged others. The first time he begged someone was for the star-tempering purple zoysia. He asked his father-in-law, Man Xiong, for the medicine. Today was the second time Ning Fan begged someone. It was to save her. She was displeased. Extremely displeased. How could little cucumber beg others? He was so stubborn. Asking him to beg others was even more painful than being cut by a blade. Don't worry. Ning Fan stopped walking and stood in front of Yu Lingkong. His cold eyes swept across the red-robed woman. He had principles. However, some things were more important than principles. Moreover, he was not just begging her. His request was also threatening her. My name is Zhou Ming. She is Yu Er. Both of us are part of the 8 venerated beings of the internal sea. We already have the qualifications to obtain the golden leaves. Unfortunately, the Thunder Bamboo Island is currently sealed. I have no choice but to come up with this plan to steal the golden leaves. It's a bad plan, but my heart is determined. If you stop me, you will regret it. I must obtain this leaf. Ning Fan was already prepared to take action at any time. Even though the red-robed woman seemed to have other intentions towards him, Ning Fan was not afraid of her if the situation really escalates to the point of them fighting. Heh! How dare you threaten me? The red-robed woman frowned and the corners of her lips curled into a cold smile. She had never been threatened by anyone, but Ning Fan did. This was an extremely laughable matter to her. According to her usual practice, she would directly kill the person who threatened her with a lightning bolt when she was humiliated. However, she had a hint of softness towards Ning Fan from the bottom of her heart. She did not know why. Even though her memories were erased, she always felt that she had met Ning Fan before. In a sense, this red-robed woman was also Ning Honghong. As for Ning Honghong, she had a close relationship with Ning Fan. Unfortunately, the red-robed woman could not remember Ning Fan in the end. She was also too lazy to remember him. Towards Ning Fan's threat, she turned her cold eyes away and ignored it in the end. There are already 8 venerated beings in the internal sea, huh? Time flies, fine. Since you are the venerated beings of the internal sea, you are also considered as one of us. I can forgive you for stealing the medicinal herbs. However, I have a condition. If you agree to this condition, all the golden leaves here will belong to you and you can use them to treat Hong Yan. Even if it's the more precious black gold leaves, I can also give you some condition. What condition? Ning Fan's eyes softened slightly. It would be best if he could exchange the golden leaves with a condition. He could tell that the identity of this red-robed woman was not ordinary. She might have some kind of relationship with Ning Honghong. Thus, Ning Fan would not kill her. If Ning Fan captures or injures this woman, he would certainly not rest until the Zhou clan is annihilated. I heard that Thunder Sovereign Buzhou is still alive. If I kill this woman and offend that old monster, I will certainly be hunted down by him until I die. The gains would not make up for the losses. Thunder Sovereign Buzhou was an old thing that even the Rain Sovereign was afraid of. He was an existence who could fight against the three sovereigns of the Sword World alone. Don't worry. I am just asking you to help me pluck some leaves. Due to some reasons, I need some black gold bamboo leaves. These leaves are more precious than the golden leaves. However, they are difficult to pluck. With my current condition, it is especially unsuitable for me to take the risk to pluck the bamboo leaves. You can ask the cultivators of the Zhou clan to pluck the leaves for you. Why did you choose me to help you? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with uncertainty. That small kiliacosm is a little special. If one's concealment technique is not strong enough, even entering that place would be a problem. Even a void refinement realm expert might die directly. To be honest, your appearance just happened to solve my problem. If you can help me, not only will I not blame you for stealing my medicine, but I will also owe you a favor. With my order, the Zhou clan will thank you for your kindness and we will become your backing in the Endless Sea. You should understand the meaning behind it. A favor? Become my backing? Who exactly are you? How can you make the Zhou clan, which has a profound background, listen to you? Ning Fan nodded his head slightly. This woman was indeed someone with a high status in the Zhou clan. Since she could make the Zhou clan protect a junior, she was probably at least someone close to Thunder Sovereign Buzhou. If he has the support of the Zhou clan, Ning Fan could be said to have a smooth sailing in the Endless Sea. No one would certainly dare to offend him. At the same time, a bold idea rose in Ning Fan's mind. If I follow the clues and gain Thunder Sovereign Buzhou's favor through this woman, I wonder if I can ask the Thunder Sovereign to deal with Moksha Sovereign. Yun Tianjue defeated the Sword Sovereign with a single sword attack. His strength was comparable to Moksha Sovereign's. The Thunder Sovereign fought against the three sovereigns of the Sword World without being defeated. This kind of achievement was even more impressive than Yun Tianjue's. One Thunder Sovereign was probably equivalent to at least 3 Moksha Sovereigns. With the Thunder Sovereign's help, Ning Fan would have a greater chance of getting rid of Moksha Sovereign. For the battle against the ancient heavenly court, Ning Fan needed void fragmentation realm experts to help him. If he could rope in any of them, he would be willing to give it a try. Even though the idea was good, he could only think about it casually. Putting aside the fact that the Thunder Sovereign was in a strange state of life and death, he was also unable to leave the Lightning Tomb. Even if the Thunder Sovereign could move freely, why must he help a junior like Ning Fan? There was no free lunch in this world. In order to get the Thunder Sovereign's help, just having a favorable impression of the Zhou clan was far from enough. The lady's request for Ning Fan to pluck the dark golden bamboo leaves did not sound difficult. However, there must be countless dangers involved. Ning Fan was well aware of that. If it's for Yu Lingkong's sake, he could even risk it. I promise you that I will help you pluck the bamboo leaves. However, there are some details that you should tell me in advance. For example, the difficulty of plucking the dark golden bamboo leaves, the dangers that you might encounter and who you are. What does my identity have to do with you? The lady in red robe's tone was cold. Ning Fan frowned. He just wanted to know the relationship between this lady and Ning Honghong. That was all. Since you must know, there's no harm in telling you. I am the daughter of Thunder Sovereign Buzhou, Hong Yi. Are you satisfied now? The daughter of Thunder Sovereign Buzhou. Miss Hong Yi, may I ask if you know a woman whose name is Ning Honghong? Ning Fan cupped his fists and asked. I don't. Hong Yi's tone was cold. Her memory was completely erased. Naturally, she did not remember anyone called Ning Honghong. Even if she remembered, so what? Ning Honghong was just one of her 10,000 clones. She was just a tuft of lightning grass that had taken human form. That was all. Would Hong Yi get involved with Ning Fan just because of one of her clones? She wouldn't. With her identity, it was destined that she would not get involved with any man. Ning Honghong was just a past that had a deep blood feud. Today, her name was Hong Yi. Chapter 409. Hong Yi rarely spoke. She remained silent, as if she was cold and arrogant. He led Ning Fan to collect all the bamboo leaves in the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling. Naturally, these bamboo leaves were still with her temporarily. It was impossible for her to hand them over to Ning Fan. She could also tell that Ning Fan's golden purple mist had some background. It was not difficult for him to dissolve the spirit sense imprint of the bamboo leaves. Hong Yi's cold eyes narrowed as she thought about the purple golden mist. She seemed to have some thoughts in her mind. She hesitated for a moment before she shook her head as if she had rejected the idea. Yu Lingkong and the female corpse had both recalled their cauldron ring. As for the 3 spiritual puppets, he also kept them away. He agreed to Hong Yi's request. He knew that after Hong Yi collected all the golden leaves, she would lead him to the small kiliacosm to collect the dark golden bamboo leaves of a higher grade. That small kiliacosm was probably really filled with dangers. Therefore, even Ning Fan did not dare to bring the 2 ladies along with him. Hong Yi's frown, cold eyes, contemplation and denial did not escape Ning Fan's observation. Ning Fan secretly activated the yin-yang locket, trying to use the mind-reading technique to see through this woman's thoughts. However, there seemed to be tens of thousands of lightning bolts in this woman's heart, shielding her from the heavens, making it impossible to pry into her heart. The mind-reading technique is ineffective, huh? Ning Fan knitted his brows, feeling that this lady was not ordinary at all. Moreover, when he activated the mind-reading technique, Hong Yi seemed to have sensed it. Her eyes turned even colder, and her blood-red eyes were filled with murderous intent. You dare pry into my heavenly secrets? If there is a next time, you will die. Hiss. A gush of baleful chi that was completely unbefitting of his void refinement realm cultivation base swept across the sky, dyeing the golden lightning in the sky red. The deafening claps of thunder were deafening. Being in the middle of the lightning might, Ning Fan felt as tiny as a withered leaf in the wind. Inwardly, he was startled and took half a step back. His eyes turned cold and he also summoned his terrifying baleful chi. It was the baleful chi of this woman in the past. Boom! As the 2 auras clashed, Hong Yi did not move even half a step. However, her cold eyes were slightly moved. As for Ning Fan, he retreated a few hundred steps along with the collision of his aura. Every step he took caused the ground to collapse. In the end, he stabilized his footsteps. His aura shook, and the ferocious might of Hong Yi dissipated. However, he was unscathed. Although he wasn't injured, he couldn't help but feel shocked. This woman's pressure was earth-shattering. There was probably no one below the void fragmentation realm who could remain unmoved under the pressure of this woman. If the Thunder Sovereign was at his peak, he would be the strongest in the Rain world. If this woman was the daughter of the Thunder Sovereign, even if she was only at the early Void Refinement realm, she would most likely be invincible among Void Refinement realm experts. I've underestimated this woman. The 3 Void Refinement realm spiritual puppets won't be able to withstand a single attack from her at all. The only thing that can withstand her attack is the steel of sun and moon. With a trump card to protect himself, Ning Fan was naturally calm. Hong Yi could not help but look at him in a higher light when she saw how calm he was. In her long life, she had seen many young experts. However, she had never seen someone like Ning Fan who could resist her baleful chi and ferocious might without showing any change in his expression. Hong Yi's cold gaze softened as her killing intent dissipated. She said coldly, "There will be no next time." Yes. This lady's strength had far exceeded his estimation. If it's not necessary, he also did not want to anger her before obtaining the golden leaf. Since he couldn't pry into this woman's thoughts using the mind-reading technique, he decided not to use it again. Between the two of them, there was no more conversation. The atmosphere was quite heavy. Hong Yi was still as cold as ice from the beginning to the end. Ning Fan did not talk to her as he was worried that he might say something wrong and anger her again. As for Ning Fan, he was secretly weighing the pros and cons. Half a day later, all the golden lightning bamboo leaves in the heavenly dwelling were collected. Hong Yi did not look relaxed at all. On the contrary, her cold eyes began to turn solemn. There are a total of 7,150 golden leaves in this heavenly dwelling. They are the original purpose of my trip. However, if you can help me collect 7 pieces of dark golden bamboo leaves, I can give you all of these golden leaves. This heavenly dwelling is called the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling. It's used to plant golden lightning bamboos. However, there's also the dark golden lightning bamboo which is planted in the black lightning realm of the small Kiliacosm. In the past, only my father was qualified to enjoy the dark golden bamboo leaves. You're very lucky. If you help me collect more than 7 pieces of bamboo leaves, I can consider giving you some of them. Ning Fan did not say much or ask any questions. He also knew that there was no room for negotiation. Hong Yi nodded her head in satisfaction at Ning Fan's attitude. She led him to the peak of a gigantic golden mountain which was surrounded by tens of thousands of lightning bolts. There were so many golden lightning bolts. Even though they were not as powerful as the blood lightning of the heavenly tribulation, their destructive power was still extraordinary. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with desire. If I refine the spirit-shattering whip with these golden lightning bolts, it might be able to break through to the void treasure realm. You want these golden lightning bolts? Hong Yi saw through Ning Fan's thoughts with just a glance. How would I dare? If you want them, just say it. You are somewhat useful to me. It's not like I can't give you some golden lightning bolts. However, do you have a lightning treasure to collect lightning bolts? Hong Yi's eyes flashed with a hint of disdain. She did not like people who say one thing but mean another. Ning Fan was slightly surprised. The golden lightning bolts that filled the sky were actually given to him by Hong Yi without much thought. One had to know that if Ning Fan takes away all the golden lightning bolts, the heavenly dwelling of the golden lightning heavenly dwelling would become a wasteland and the golden bamboos would no longer be able to grow leaves. After thinking about it carefully, Ning Fan also understood why Hong Yi was so generous. Hong Yi needed his help while Ning Fan needed her to give him the golden leaves. Both of them had a mutually beneficial relationship. However, Hong Yi had forced Ning Fan previously which hurt their relationship after all. She was using the golden lightning bolts to repair their relationship. Even though the golden lightning bamboos were precious, Hong Yi's standards were higher. She did not think much of them in the first place. She did not care whether the golden lightning bamboos could continue to grow or not. Since Hong Yi was willing to give the golden lightning bolts to Ning Fan, there was no reason for him to reject it. Lightning treasures were needed to collect lightning bolts. As for lightning treasures, Ning Fan still had them. He touched his glabella and a blood-red lightning whip shadow appeared. It was the spirit-shattering whip. As soon as the whip appeared, the blood-red lightning crackled, causing Hong Yi's cold eyes to flicker. Blood lightning? She did not expect that Ning Fan actually had a lightning treasure which was surrounded by the blood lightning of the heavenly tribulation. One should know that this type of lightning was a little special. Ordinary people could not control it. Strange. Strange. In the rain world, other than the bloodline of the lightning sovereign, no one should be able to control it. Hong Yi stretched out her hand and beckoned. The lightning whip which was lying quietly in Ning Fan's hand obediently floated up and flew into her hand. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. It was his first time being snatched away by someone empty-handed. Before he could ask for the lightning whip back, Hong Yi shook her head and smiled disdainfully. Don't worry. I won't be interested in the trashy magic treasure of a junior. She emphasized the word trashy very accurately. Trashy. Ning Fan's eyes turned gloomy. It was his first time being criticized by someone for the magic treasure he refined. His tool refinement technique was indeed not the best in the Rain world. However, even ordinary Void Refinement Realm old monsters might not be as good as him. After all, he had obtained Ancient Chaos's incomplete memories. The spirit-shattering whip which he refined was definitely a rare treasure. It had helped him kill his enemies time and time again, making them tremble in fear. This treasure might not have extraordinary abilities, but it was definitely not trash. If the opponent doesn't have a treasure, will this treasure still be useful? Hong Yi did not argue with him. She just pointed out the abilities and drawbacks of the spirit-shattering whip with just a few words. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly serious. He thought to himself. This Hong Yi's eyesight is rather sharp. She is the first person who can see through all the abilities of the spirit-shattering whip with just a single glance. Could it be that this woman who is full of killing intent is a tool refinement grandmaster? Your puppet is not bad. Even though it is only a half-finished product, its technique is extremely brilliant. It is at least at the standard of a true immortal. At first, I thought you were the one who refined it. Now, it seems like the one who refined it is someone else. Your tool refinement technique sucks. Ning Fan was mocked once again. However, he was no longer angry. He could already tell that Hong Yi's tool refinement technique and puppet refinement technique were probably extremely profound. With just a glance at the three puppets, she was able to tell that they were refined by a true immortal. Her eyesight was indeed sharp. What is the name of this treasure? Hong Yi asked coldly. Spirit-shattering whip. Spirit-shattering whip is a very good ability. However, it is not enough to just use this treasure to shatter it. 10,000 lightning in the heavens, Tai Su defense. From today onwards, this treasure will be renamed as the White Lightning Whip. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes flashed. She raised her head and looked at the sky. That gaze of hers actually made all the golden lightning in the sky tremble in fear. She waved the lightning whip in her hand. With a wave of her hand, the lightning whip abruptly turned into blood-red lightning and shattered. The immemorial stars contained within the whip also reassembled. With a point of her jade-like finger, the blood-red lightning suddenly turned into blood-red lightning flames and engulfed the immemorial stars. Traces of lightning power turned into lightning runes in the shape of profound wings, emitting a vast and desolate chi. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the lightning whip was reassembled. Its ability was still the same. However, what was different now was that the blood-red lightning on the whip was as dazzling as the aurora in the starry sky. Moreover, the grade of the lightning whip had already broken through to the grade of a mortal void treasure. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. Hong Yi had actually improved the grade of the lightning whip just by making some minor changes to it. Without a doubt, it meant that Hong Yi's tool refinement technique had far surpassed Ning Fan's standard. The destructive power of the lightning whip that she had just refined was also far above Ning Fan's. I have refined this whip with the white lightning. From today onwards, if I want to shatter someone's primordial spirit, I don't need their magic treasures anymore. I just need to gather lightning in the whip and I can shatter their primordial spirit. Boom! Hong Yi fiercely lashed the whip at the sky as if she was whipping the heavens. Even though the might of the golden lightning in the sky was strong, it was directly shattered into countless pieces by her whip. For the second time, the lightning rays were all shattered into light spots. For the third time, traces of light spots were forcibly absorbed into the lightning whip. As the traces of golden lightning entered the whip, the grade of the lightning whip increased once again. It actually showed signs of advancing to the mid-grade mortal void treasure. In the sky above the heavenly dwelling, the bloody scars caused by the lightning whip could not be healed. The destructive power of a single whip was enough to kill a half-step void refinement realm expert. The destructive power of 3 whips was enough to injure even an early void refinement realm expert. Take it. Hong Yi casually tossed the lightning whip to Ning Fan as if she was giving it to him as a gift. Ning Fan caught the lightning whip. As soon as he held it, he could feel that the lightning power of this whip was more than 100 times stronger than before after it had devoured the golden lightning. In the past, the lightning power was too weak. It could only be used on magic treasures to attack one's primordial spirit. From today onwards, a single whip in the sky had the ability to shatter one's primordial spirit. This whip had leaped from an auxiliary magic treasure to a supreme killing tool. Thank you, Miss Hong Yi, for refining this treasure for me. Your tool refinement technique is so brilliant that it makes me feel ashamed of my inferiority. Ning Fan admitted that he was weak. Other than cultivation, he was only proficient in pill refinement and formation techniques. He did not have any extra thoughts to cultivate his tool refinement technique. Miss? Hong Yi sneered as if she had just heard a funny title. You don't have to thank me. The reason why I refine this treasure for you is so that it will be more convenient for us in the future. There are many lightning spirits in the Black Lightning realm. With this white lightning whip, you can kill many of them. You guard me while I open the Black Lightning realm. Hong Yi's tone left no room for refusal. As soon as she finished speaking, she immediately formed a hand seal and forcefully tore open a realm filled with rolling black lightning on the mountain peak. It was as if she was not afraid that Ning Fan would launch a sneak attack on her when she was unprepared. It was a kind of confidence that only an absolute expert would have. It was already difficult for a void fragmentation realm expert to have such confidence. It was really strange for a void refinement realm cultivator to have such confidence. Thinking about it carefully, even though this Hong Yi's mouth was vicious, she was just speaking the truth. Her eyes were cold and arrogant, but she did not have any evil intentions. After helping Ning Fan refine the lightning whip, it seemed like the previous offense she had towards him could be written off. What was left was only the cooperation between the two of them. The Black Lightning realm is about to open. Prepare to enter the realm stealthily. Don't let the Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirit notice us. Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirit. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. A Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirit. Isn't that equivalent to a late Void Refinement Realm being? Every step after the Void Refinement Realm was a world of difference. A Void Inquiry Stage Cultivator could control the power of the Void, while a Void Pierce Stage Cultivator could borrow the power of the Void to nourish their chi at the Void Pierce stage and obtain an inexhaustible amount of Void magic power. The late Void Refinement Realm and the mid-Void Refinement Realm was the real dividing line. A late-stage cultivator might not necessarily lose even if he were to fight 10 mid-stage cultivators alone. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. It seems like this Black Lightning realm is really dangerous. Immediately, he activated the heaven-deceiving cloak without any hesitation. As for Hong Yi, her figure slowly faded away. However, she was still transmitting her voice to Ning Fan, letting him know their location. Enter the realm. Hong Yi and Ning Fan turned invisible and entered the Black Lightning realm. In an instant, more than 10 ancient spirit senses swept past the entrance of the Black Lightning realm in a domineering manner. Each of them had the might of a late Void Refinement realm cultivator. Who dares to barge into the realm? Boom! The immense pressure turned into a lightning force that shook the heavens and the earth, blasting into Ning Fan's eardrums. All of a sudden, Ning Fan felt a sharp pain in his sea of consciousness as if it was about to shatter. Chapter 410. The thunderous roars of more than 10 Void Pierce Stage Lightning Spirits were extremely tyrannical. If it wasn't for Ning Fan's powerful sword sense, his sea of consciousness would certainly be shattered by that roar and he would be buried in the Black Lightning realm. His sword sense was stable, but he still suffered serious injuries. Fortunately, Ning Fan had refined 99 natal stars. Under the healing effect of the star technique, his sea of consciousness had already recovered at an unimaginable speed. After that roar, the entrance to the Black Lightning realm disappeared. When the dozen or so thunder spirits saw that their roar didn't shake anyone out, they knew that the newcomer had been shaken back. The surroundings gradually became quiet, and only the sound of thunder could be heard. Only then did Ning Fan notice that the ground beneath his feet was black while the sky above his head was covered with black thunderclouds. Every single trace of the black lightning in the dark clouds contained a terrifying lightning power that could kill a half-step void refinement realm expert. It must never be touched. In the sky that was filled with black lightning, there were a total of 14 black lightning ferocious beasts. All of them had terrifying cultivation bases at the late void refinement realm. Each vicious beast was bound by a black lightning chain, restricting their movements. The black lightning chain shot out from the clouds and connected to the sky. Bound by the chains, the 14 ferocious beasts could only walk within 5,000 kilometers of the entrance. They could not go any further. Who is so powerful to actually lock 14 late void refinement realm demonic beasts here to guard the entrance of the Black Lightning realm? With Ning Fan's eyesight, he could tell that it was the master of the Black Lightning realm who wanted to lock these ferocious beasts in this place. To guard the door. Other than Thunder Emperor Buzhou, is there anyone else who could be so domineering? Hong Yi, who was hidden at the side, spoke with a calm tone, as if she was talking about something that had nothing to do with her. Judging from his tone, he wasn't injured by the thunderous roar at all. Ning Fan's eyes darkened. Sure enough, this woman has hidden her strength well. Once they were 10,000 miles away from the entrance, they would be in a safe zone. Even late-stage dire beasts would not be able to reach this distance. The divine sense of a late-stage ferocious beast could cover an area of 500,000 miles. Only when they were 1 million li away did Ning Fan and Hong Yi appear one after another. It wasn't their original intention to reveal themselves. It was just that there were already quite a few black lightning bamboos growing at this distance. Every single thunder bamboo flickered with black lightning. The thunder bamboo in the center was especially large, and its lightning energy was also the most terrifying. Even though he was 10,000 zhang away from Ning Fan, he was able to use his lightning power to force Ning Fan out of concealment. This is the dark golden lightning bamboo. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Just the central thunder bamboo alone was at least 1 million feet tall. How was this bamboo? It was clearly a bamboo mountain. There were countless black lightning bolts on top of the bamboo mountain, giving Ning Fan an extremely dangerous feeling. None of the thunder bamboos had any leaves growing on them. Only at the highest point of the central thunder bamboo was a black teleportation array formed from the power of thunder. It was the closest to the thunderclouds in the sky, and it was unknown where it led to. Ning Fan scanned the area with his spirit sense. He detected nearly 10,000 traces of extremely obscure chi from this central lightning bamboo. These auras were similar to the 14 ferocious beasts, but they were much weaker. All of them had terrifying auras above the nascent soul level. Among the 10,000 traces of chi, there was no lack of divine transformation realm chi. Of course, what Ning Fan feared the most was that there were actually 4 traces of void refinement realm chi on a single lightning bamboo. As soon as they sensed Ning Fan and Hong Yi's presence, countless lightning spirits gave off dangerous hostility. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. If he recklessly approaches the giant bamboo in the center, he would certainly face a tough battle. The dark golden bamboo leaf is not here? Ning Fan asked doubtfully. That's right. This is only the lower world of the Black Lightning realm. The dark gold bamboo leaves grow above the thunderclouds. Above the thunderclouds? Ning Fan raised his head and looked at the sky. Not only were the black thunderclouds extremely dangerous, but they were also at least 1 million zhang thick. No cultivator below the void fragmentation realm could forcefully pass through the black thunderclouds and reach the world above the thunderclouds. Don't worry. I'm not asking you to pass through the sea of lightning directly. I'm asking you to use the lightning teleportation formation on the central lightning bamboo to reach the upper cloud world. If you go there, you will naturally be able to pluck the dark golden bamboo leaves for me. Teleportation formation, huh? Ning Fan nodded his head. He naturally noticed the teleportation formation on the top of the central lightning bamboo. If he uses this formation, he might be able to reach the upper cloud world safely. However, Ning Fan still had a doubt in his mind that he could not answer. Hong Yi was very powerful. She totally had the ability to break into the Black Lightning realm by herself, climb to the top of the central lightning bamboo and pass through the teleportation formation to reach the cloud world. She did not seem to have any reason to ask for his help. As if she had seen through Ning Fan's doubts, Hong Yi frowned and explained. Can't you see that I have the body of a primordial spirit? The body of a primordial spirit? Ning Fan was stunned. He activated his Fu Li Eye and only then did he notice a trace of abnormality on Hong Yi's body. Hong Yi's body was not a real physical body. Instead, it was an extremely condensed primordial spirit which was similar to Luo Yu's. Such a condensed primordial spirit was almost no different from a real body. In addition, Ning Fan did not investigate her background in order to avoid her dissatisfaction. Thus, he could not identify the nature of her primordial spirit. As soon as he found out that she was a primordial spirit, Ning Fan's doubts were instantly resolved. The primordial spirit was the foundation of a cultivator. If the physical body is injured or destroyed, a cultivator could still use the primordial spirit to rebuild his physical body or even seize another body to be reborn. However, if the primordial spirit is destroyed, it would mean the death of the cultivator. Unfortunately, the primordial spirit was not like the physical body which had a strong defense and was easily damaged. The cloud world in the upper cloud world was quite dangerous. Hong Yi was a primordial spirit. Naturally, she had her concerns and was unwilling to put her primordial spirit in danger. If I didn't meet you, my original plan was to consume all the golden leaves in the golden lightning heavenly dwelling and recover to the mid-void refinement realm. Then, I would enter the black lightning realm to eliminate a late void refinement realm ferocious beast and turn it into a puppet to pluck the bamboo leaves for me in the cloud world. However, doing so would waste a lot of time. Secondly, due to the uniqueness of the cloud world, it is very difficult for a puppet to successfully pluck the bamboo leaves in the cloud world. Fortunately, you appeared. This is great. You have saved me a lot of trouble. Even though your cultivation base is not high, you have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. You are more useful than a puppet. Hong Yi's tone was calm, but she did not hide her intention at all. She was just using Ning Fan to take the risk for her. Since she was using him, there was no need for her to hide anything. After she made herself clear, Ning Fan held his chin and pondered for a while. From the looks of it, Hong Yi's motive was pure. It was just for the dark golden bamboo leaves. Just by saying a few words, she revealed the information about recovering her cultivation base. It was enough for Ning Fan to conclude that this lady was probably similar to Luo Yu. She was severely injured and her primordial spirit was injured. She could recover her strength by recovering her primordial spirit. In that case, this lady probably had the strength of a late void refinement realm or even a peak void refinement realm expert. That was why she had such a terrifying aura force and baleful chi. Ning Fan stared at the lightning bamboo in the center and his eyes became even more solemn. What made him serious was not the 10,000 concealed lightning spirits but the lightning teleportation formation. This formation led directly to the cloud world in the upper layer. He did not know what kind of dangers there were in the cloud world. Even Hong Yi was afraid of it and did not dare to enter it. If he went in, wouldn't he have a slim chance of survival? Since things had developed to this stage, it was impossible for him to back out or regret his decision. However, he needed to understand the cloud world in the upper layer and figure out how to harvest the dark golden bamboo leaves and what kind of dangers there were. Moreover, there was one more thing. If he helps Hong Yi, what if she turns against him and burns the bridge after crossing it? I can help you, but who is going to guarantee my safety? What kind of guarantee do you want? Hong Yi asked coldly. Give me all the information about the cloud world in the upper layer. I need to know how dangerous it is to ascend to the cloud world. This request is not too much. The information is here. You can make your own judgment. In my opinion, your physical body is not weak. If you ascend to the cloud world, there is at least a 90% chance of you surviving unscathed. You don't have to worry about the dangers. I'm just concerned about how many bamboo leaves you can harvest. 7 leaves might be a little difficult for you. But I need at least 7 leaves. As soon as Hong Yi finished speaking, her lightning power condensed into a jade slip. She imprinted her memories into it and passed it to Ning Fan. Ning Fan received the jade slip and carefully read it. The doubts in his eyes gradually disappeared. Luckily, the cloud world was not as dangerous as he imagined. Hong Yi had still underestimated Ning Fan. With Ning Fan's means, he was 100% sure that he would not die in the cloud world. However, the difficulty of harvesting the bamboo leaves was indeed very high. Above the cloud world, there was a black lightning bamboo tower. Inside the tower, there were black lightning bamboo leaves. There were also black lightning undead spirits sealed in the tower. The black lightning bamboo tower had a total of 100 floors. Each floor was formed by a bamboo joint. There was a bamboo leaf growing on each of the first 10 levels. In the tower, the undead spirits would be stronger the higher one went. After reaching the 5th floor, there would be Void Refinement Realm undead spirits. Ning Fan had to kill his way to the 7th floor at least in order to obtain the bamboo leaves. What he needed to be careful about was that these undead spirits were proficient in attacking one's primordial spirit. When a cultivator enters the tower, he must be especially careful not to injure his primordial spirit. This was the reason why Hong Yi was afraid of him. Outside the tower, there were 3 more levels. These 3 levels tested a cultivator's Dao heart and Dao comprehension. If undead creatures like corpse refinement puppets come here, it would be difficult for them to even pass the first 3 levels. Naturally, it would be even more difficult for them to enter the tower and harvest the bamboo leaves. Hong Yi's original plan was to refine a late void refinement realm spiritual puppet and forcefully break through the 3 levels to enter the tower. However, with Ning Fan here, it would be much easier for him to pass the 3 levels and enter the tower with his current cultivation level. Even though Hong Yi did not think highly of Ning Fan's treasure refinement technique, she was still quite certain about his strength. There were not many cultivators in the entire Rain world who could withstand her baleful qi. Since Ning Fan could do this, he was at least much more reliable than the few subordinates of the Zhou clan. Of course, considering the difficulty of Ning Fan obtaining the bamboo leaves, Hong Yi also had a secret technique for him. With this secret technique, Ning Fan's safety could be increased once again. This technique is the compensation for taking the risk for me. Hong Yi condensed another jade slip and imprinted some information on it before giving it to Ning Fan. This is, Ning Fan received the jade slip and scanned it with his spirit sense. Immediately, his expression changed. Primordial lightning armor. Primordial lightning, as the name suggested, was lightning that condensed from the power of one's primordial spirit. By condensing a primordial lightning armor with the power of primordial lightning, it could protect one's primordial spirit. It was much stronger than ordinary spiritual equipment and it could effectively defend against the attacks of the undead spirits. With this secret technique, Ning Fan undoubtedly had another method to protect his primordial spirit. Not only could the primordial lightning armor protect one's primordial spirit, but it could also be used on one's physical body to increase one's defense. When this technique is cultivated to its peak, the highest grade lightning armor that can be condensed can even defend against a void fragmentation realm strike. Ning Fan pondered inwardly. The grade of this technique has probably reached the immortal void realm. It's a void fragmentation realm defensive technique. I'll accept this technique. My journey to the cloud world will not be dangerous anymore. Besides, I'm quite confident in obtaining the 7 bamboo leaves. However, I still have a concern. How can you guarantee that you won't burn the bridge after the task is accomplished? If you don't give me the golden lightning bamboo leaves and even order the Zhou clan to hunt me down and kill me, it will be very difficult for me to resist them with the Zhou clan's background. Guarantee? Humph. Do you want me to make a great oath of heart devil for you? Hong Yi's eyes turned cold. If that's the case, it will be even better. Ning Fan was not afraid at all. Hong Yi's cold eyes softened. She calmed down a little. If an ordinary person asks her to make an oath, she would certainly slap him to death out of impatience. However, Ning Fan was different. To her, Ning Fan was not only useful for a single use. Obtaining the bamboo leaves was just a small matter. Ning Fan's golden purple mist might still be of great use to Hong Yi. Alright. I can make an exception and swear that I won't turn against you after the matter is over. However, you have to swear too. I have to swear too. Ning Fan was stunned. You have to swear that if I have something to ask of you in the future, you must not refuse me as long as it's within your capabilities. You have to help me once. You must be joking, Mississippi. With your status in the Zhou clan, why would you need my help? Just as Ning Fan was about to reject her, Hong Yi waved her hand and interrupted him in an old-fashioned manner. Don't worry. The matter that I'm asking for your help definitely won't be dangerous at all. I just need to borrow your golden purple mist to dissolve a seal. That's all. Besides, when the time comes, I will certainly give you something that will move your heart. If it's just to dissolve a seal and there are great benefits in it, it's not impossible for me to make a simple oath. Ning Fan frowned. He could already tell that Hong Yi in front of him was the same as him. Both of them were people who did not want to be at a disadvantage. If he did not swear, Hong Yi would not do so either. The one who was at a disadvantage and had no guarantee of his safety was only Ning Fan. Fortunately, Ning Fan could tell that this lady still wanted to use his wind mist technique. Since he still had value to her, there was no need to burn the bridge after crossing it. Since things had come to this, there was no other choice. Hong Yi and Ning Fan each swore an oath of heart devil. To the two of them, making an oath was a rare thing. However, they had no choice but to do it. Hong Yi glanced at Ning Fan from the corner of her eyes. She did not find his request troublesome. If it's her who was in a weaker position, she would certainly have a lot of concerns. Young man, you have gotten what you want. Now, isn't it time for you to put in some effort? There are 4 early Void Refinement Realm Lightning Spirits in the Central Lightning Bamboo. I'll kill 3 of them while you block 1. Can you do it? In order to ascend to the Cloud Realm, one must first kill their way to the peak of the Central Lightning Bamboo. Hong Yi had already begun assigning tasks to everyone. She did not expect Ning Fan to be able to kill the Lightning Spirit at all even if he had 3 puppets with him. It was not that he looked down on Ning Fan. It was just that the mission of killing a Void Refinement Realm expert was too difficult for a half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivator. Just blocking. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and summoned 3 Void Refinement Realm spiritual puppets. It was really not difficult for them to stop an early Void Refinement Realm being. However, he seemed to have been underestimated by Hong Yi. He did not only have the strength to stop Void Refinement Realm experts. Go! Hong Yi took a step forward. Her delicate little feet shook the earth within 100,000 miles, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A baleful aura soared into the sky and a ferocious aura spread out, shocking all beasts within 100,000 li. The tens of thousands of thunder spirit beasts hidden in the center of the thunder bamboo were shaken out by the pressure. For a time, the world was filled with a dense mass of giant beasts. In their terror, they let out a desperate roar. Even if they were afraid, they would defend and fight to the death. No one was allowed to invade the upper layer of the cloud world. Chapter 411. In the vast sky, ferocious beasts were as numerous as the clouds. Every single one of them was charging at Ning Fan and Hong Yi with reckless abandon. 10,000 nascent beasts, 100 wild beasts and 4 early-stage imaginary beasts. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes revealed a cold killing intent. With a flick of her hand, all the ferocious beasts that got close to her were killed by the lightning. Regardless of whether they were nascent soul beasts or wild beasts, none of them could withstand a single strike from her. With just one step, she strangely appeared in front of a foe beast. Xiao Chen pointed with her finger, and rings of scarlet lightning spread out in the air, striking the foe beast. The lightning was too fast, the foe beast could not dodge at all. In the blink of an eye, the void beast's flesh was scorched. It howled as it fell into the clouds, the pain difficult to understand. A dignified early-stage foe beast had actually been severely injured by the red-clothed woman in a single exchange. Roar! The remaining 3 foe beasts immediately realized that Hong Yi was their greatest enemy and surrounded her. They let out furious roars that shook the clouds. The 3 beasts were all tens of thousands of zhang in size. They spat out black lightning from their mouths and formed 100,000 sharp divine weapons. Killing intent surged as they hacked towards the red clothes. Every divine weapon was comparable to a peak nascent level treasure. Even an early void refinement realm cultivator would find it difficult to defend against the attacks of 100,000 nascent treasures. At that moment, the light of treasures covered the entire sky. However, the corners of Red Dress's mouth curled up into a disdainful smile. She flipped her fair palm and said coldly, "Lightning wielder art, wielding 5 thunders." Her soft palm was delicate as if it had no bones, but the power of a flip seemed to be enough to overturn the heavens. At this moment, Hong Yi seemed to have become the master of all lightning. With a flip of her palm, 100,000 lightning soldiers trembled in fear. In the next moment, the power of lightning flowed out and shattered. With a flip of his hand, he overturned the heavens and broke the combined attack of the 3 void beasts. Controlling the 5 thunders with a single palm was the same lightning-controlling secret technique that had strangely snatched away the soul-shattering whip. Even though Hong Yi had injured 1 beast in an instant and defeated 3 beasts with brute force, she did not feel proud at all. There was only disdain in her eyes. To her, an early-stage foe beast was just an ant, unable to withstand a single blow. Even if she won, she would not be happy. Her eyes shifted to Ning Fan and said coldly, "You will deal with that injured void beast. As for the 10,000 lightning spirit ants, you will eliminate them. Are you looking down on me?" Ning Fan's eyes flickered. What Hong Yi asked him to deal with was just a severely injured void refinement realm beast. Even so, Hong Yi still did not expect Ning Fan to be able to kill this beast. In Hong Yi's eyes, the 3 semi-finished puppets were merely passable. As for Ning Fan's strength, he had yet to attain the void refinement realm. Perhaps, he could not even get Hong Yi's approval. The daughter of the Thunder Sovereign is indeed powerful and arrogant. The way you look at puppets and magical treasures is indeed very sharp. However, the way you look at me doesn't seem to be that sharp. Underestimating me is a mistake, Ning Fan muttered to himself in his heart. However, he did not say anything else. To prove his strength, he did not rely on his mouth. To win the respect of others, he did not rely on arguing. He used his spiritual will to control the puppets, and the 3 puppets instantly turned into smoke and escaped. They surrounded the injured virtual beast and fiercely smashed down with their fists. The earth-shattering fist auras shattered the ground. The mountains and rivers collapsed just like that. Unfortunately, the 3 puppets lacked a sure kill technique. Although they had beaten the void beast to the point that its blood flowed like a river and the earth shook, they were still unable to kill the ferocious beast with a single strike. That void beast was first heavily injured by the red-clothed lightning, and then it was besieged by the 3 of them like they were beating a dog to death. It finally went crazy, and it was enraged, its ferocious nature erupting. It ignited its bloodline and its aura skyrocketed. For a moment, it actually shook off the 3 puppets and fought them with great difficulty. Blood dyed the mountains and rivers red, but it still didn't yield. Hong Yi did not underestimate the 3 puppets. At the end of the day, puppets were inanimate objects. The 3 puppets might not be able to kill a virtual beast that was going all out. However, she had underestimated Ning Fan. Ning Fan left the injured void beast to the 3 puppets. Ning Fan himself took a step forward and stood in front of the 10,000 beasts. His thin and weak body was like an insurmountable mountain. No ferocious beast could take half a step over his body. Ning Fan's sword sense swept across the area again and again. The 10,000 nascent soul realm beasts were instantly killed by him in just a few moments. The roars of the beasts in the surroundings were as loud as thunder. Ning Fan's eyes were cold. That coldness came from his heart that was as hard as iron and stone after experiencing the sea of blood for a long time. A breath later, there were only 110,000 zhang tall wild beasts left in front of him. Ning Fan's speed in killing the nascent soul realm beasts made Hong Yi's eyes move slightly. Oh. This young man's sword sense isn't weak. He can even kill nascent soul realm beasts in an instant. However, many divine transformation realm cultivators can also kill them at such a level. Unless he can withstand 100 wild beasts, he is still just an ordinary half-step void refinement realm cultivator in my eyes. As soon as her voice fell, a hint of surprise flashed across her eyes for the first time at the next moment. She saw that Ning Fan did not show any fear in the face of 100 wild beasts. He clawed at the ground with his 5 fingers and his aura force swept across the area. All of a sudden, the soul of the earth was extracted. Countless plants withered and the mountains and rivers decayed. As for Ning Fan, who had devoured the soul of the earth, his aura force skyrocketed. It had already reached 1 million units. In terms of magic power alone, he was not any weaker than ordinary void glimpse stage cultivators. Unfortunately, his cultivation realm did not improve at all. He was still at the half-step void refinement realm. Even the Earth Soul extraction technique could not allow a cultivator to break through the bottleneck of the void refinement realm. Even so, it was Hong Yi's first time being surprised by Ning Fan. Soul extraction technique? This young man can actually comprehend this technique. I have underestimated him. With the help of the secret technique, Ning Fan's magic power increased tremendously. Looking at the 100 wild beasts, his eyes became even colder. He touched his glabella and the white lightning whip appeared in his hand. The long whip lashed out as if it was whipping all living beings. Its entire body gave off a devil might that could not be looked at directly. 1 whip, 10 whips, 100 whips. 100 whips were lashed out by Ning Fan almost in an instant, giving off deafening sounds of thunder and flashes of lightning. Even though the whip was lashing at the air, endless blood-red lightning bolts appeared and struck the bodies of the 100 wild beasts. In addition, all of the 100 wild beasts were lightning spirits. Thus, they were completely restrained by the white lightning whip. In just an instant, the demon cores of the 100 wild beasts were all struck by the lightning bolts. All of their defenses were useless to the white lightning whip. The demon cores that were as hard as black iron were crushed by Ning Fan's whip. 21 wild beasts lost their demon cores on the spot and died a violent death. The rest of the beasts also suffered different degrees of injuries. Their chi was greatly weakened. Moreover, many of the wild beasts were showing signs of dropping to the nascent soul realm because their demon cores were damaged. All of a sudden, a deep sense of fear appeared in the eyes of the 100 wild beasts. Originally, they would not be afraid of any experts at the same level as them. However, when they met Ning Fan's cold eyes, all of the ferocious beasts felt as if they were in a world of ice and snow, a bone-piercing cold. It was as if they were not ferocious beasts but Ning Fan was the devil beast with monstrous ferocity. What a terrifying white lightning whip! He had killed 21 wild beasts with a single strike. Ning Fan looked at the lightning whip in his hand and revealed a satisfied expression. No matter what, the white lightning whip that Hong Yi had refined again was much more convenient to kill people and shatter their spirits without the restriction of drawing treasures. Roar! Even though the 80 wild beasts were fearful, they still quickly surrounded Ning Fan from all directions and attacked him with lightning power with all their might. Wind, thunder, rain and lightning were summoned. Each of them had their own unique techniques. The destructive force of the joint lightning attack of 80 wild beasts was astonishing. Even a void refinement realm attack was nothing more than this. Ning Fan looked at the wind and lightning that filled the sky without any fear. He raised the whip and pointed it to the east, slaughtering 20 wild beasts in the east. Even though Ning Fan's physical body was at the 4th level of the Jade Life Realm, he should have been severely injured when the lightning struck him. However, at this moment, 99 black stars suddenly appeared in the sky. Starlight sprinkled down. Ning Fan's eyes were like stars and his body was like a devil god. No matter how the lightning struck his body, his long hair danced in the wind and he remained unscathed. No. He was not unscathed. It was just that the speed at which the attacks of mere wild beasts caused damage to Ning Fan's body was far slower than the recovery speed of the starlight. Star Healing Technique. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes were filled with surprise. She had never expected that Ning Fan actually possessed such a heaven-defying ability. If it was the soul extraction technique, Hong Yi would only be surprised because she also knew that technique. However, the star healing technique was a truly supreme secret technique. Even a void fragmentation realm expert would not be able to comprehend it. Even a life immortal realm expert might not be able to comprehend it. The fact that Ning Fan actually knew a secret technique of this level really shocked Hong Yi. This time, I've really underestimated him. He has 99 natal stars. With so many stars protecting him, he might not be able to kill a void refinement realm expert, but I'm afraid no void glimpse stage cultivator can kill him either. Hong Yi finally began to take Ning Fan seriously. Ning Fan was still unaware of all these. He just turned his head and looked to the west. The killing intent in his eyes was enough to drown the 20 wild beasts in the west. Roar! The roars of the wild beasts were filled with indescribable fear. They couldn't understand. They couldn't understand why Ning Fan's physical body remained unscathed and indestructible after enduring the attacks of 80 wild beasts. How could they understand? How could they understand? Ning Fan had condensed 99 natal stars. Even if he is besieged by divine transformation realm cultivators, he would certainly be undefeatable. There are still 40 wild beasts left. Ning Fan glanced at the severely injured void beast. Even though it was on the verge of death, it managed to injure a void refinement realm spiritual puppet. An incomplete spiritual puppet is indeed very weak compared to its peers of the same level. He knew that if he drags on any longer, there was a possibility that the ferocious beast would drag one of the spiritual puppets to perish together with it. Then, the losses would outweigh the gains. After keeping his lightning whip, Ning Fan looked at the remaining 40 wild beasts around him. His eyes flashed with cold light. 5 Graves of Dragons Technique. When the 5 dragons die, the black dragon lives. When the 5 elements die, the 5 graves live. The tombstones that were not part of the 5 elements were able to restrain the 5 elements of heaven and earth. As for these wild beasts, all of them had lightning spirits. Their bodies were formed from pure metal spirits. Thus, they were restrained by the 5 graves. Suppress. Ning Fan flicked his fingers and circulated his magic power. 5 10,000 zhang large black dragon tombstones suddenly appeared in the sky. As Ning Fan willed it, countless shadows of the tombstones were formed and they fell upon the beasts. When the shadow of a tombstone fell, it was as if Mount Tai was falling from the sky. Under the suppression of countless tombstones, the 40 wild beasts were immediately killed and their blood flowed like a river. In just a few breaths' time, the last 40 wild beasts had also turned into minced meat and rotten bones. They were all killed under the 5 graves. 100 wild beasts' demon cores which contained lightning power were naturally taken away by Ning Fan as his spoils of war. Ning Fan consumed a few spirit-restoring pills and quickly refined them. With the tip of his feet, he dashed towards the severely injured void beast. He directly appeared in front of the void beast in a domineering manner. Relying on the protection of the starlight, he swung his fists and bombarded the void beast's body. Even though the void beast had burned its blood and fought to the death, it had yet to break through to the mid-void refinement realm after all. Even though its attacks were powerful and the injuries it suffered were also severe, all of them were healed by Ning Fan's Black Star technique. As for Ning Fan's attacks, they landed squarely on the void beast's body, causing countless wounds on its body to split open. In addition to Ning Fan's forceful restraint, the three spiritual puppets recklessly attacked the void beast's vital parts. In just the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the void beast's strength was exhausted. It could no longer defend itself and died in the end. The last attack was made by Ning Fan's finger. The purple mist shrouded the sky. The illusory purple-gold mist covered the sky. Within the wind and sand, there was a terrifying power that could turn everything into ashes and dust into dust. It directly turned the void beast into dust. He did not use the myriad sword style. After all, the Zhou clan did not seem to be on good terms with the Rain Palace. It would be unwise to recklessly use Yun Tianjue's sword move. He also did not use the star punishing bow technique. The power of that shot would deplete his magic power and put him in a weakened state for a short period of time. He purposely used the wind mist finger because Hong Yi had told him that she fancied his wind mist finger and she needed his help. Since that was the case, Ning Fan did not mind using the wind mist technique to let Hong Yi see the power of this technique. That way, she would know the value of befriending Ning Fan. After killing the void beast, Ning Fan obtained a void beast's demon core and kept it in his storage pouch. Then, a cold and arrogant female voice resounded behind him. Your strength is quite good. You are the first Divine Transformation Realm Junior who has impressed me. The one who spoke was, of course, Hong Yi. Ning Fan had killed 10,000 nascent soul beasts, 100 wild beasts and 1 void beast. Hong Yi had also killed 3 void beasts. Miss, you flatter me. I could barely kill 1 void beast with the help of the 3 puppets. As for you, you killed 3 of them alone. You are the one who impressed me. Ning Fan asked himself honestly. Hong Yi was indeed very strong. She was much stronger than Yu Lingkong. Humph. In your eyes, don't tell me that I don't even have the strength to kill 3 early void beasts instantly. Are you mocking me? Hong Yi actually showed a displeased look towards Ning Fan's compliment. Her temperament was really strange and hard to please. Even though her eyes were filled with displeasure, she did not vent her anger on Ning Fan. Instead, her hands were stained with blood as she tossed 3 void beasts' demon cores to Ning Fan. For me. Ning Fan was surprised. Even though this Hong Yi was just using him, she was really generous. She gave him 3 void beasts' demon cores just like that. Since you are working for me, I will certainly not treat you unfairly. However, these are just trash demon cores. They are not considered good stuff. You don't have to reject them. Hong Yi's cold eyes did not have any emotion. She did not even spare a glance at the void beast's demon cores. If this demon core is leaked to the outside world, it would certainly cause void refinement realm old monsters to fight for it. However, in Hong Yi's eyes, it was just trash. Ning Fan was instantly speechless. It seemed like Hong Yi's previous argument that the spirit-shattering whip was trash was not considered as an insult. After all, in her eyes, all void beasts were trash. Her standards were too high. It would be a waste for him to reject 3 void beasts' demon cores that were delivered to his doorstep. Ning Fan nodded his head and kept the 3 demon cores. As for Hong Yi, she took out a clean silk handkerchief and calmly wiped away the bloodstains on her hands. Her blood-red eyes were still filled with arrogance. However, she suddenly spoke to Ning Fan coldly for the first time. You are not trash. Ning Fan was speechless. He understood that Hong Yi's words were meant as a compliment. However, if an ordinary person were to hear it, they would probably think that she was scolding him. She was an incomparably arrogant woman. What matched her arrogance was her insanely strong strength. If it wasn't necessary, Ning Fan did not want to be entangled with this woman. As for Hong Yi, she was still as cold as ice. She was not interested in anything in the world, including Ning Fan. No one broke the silence. After killing all the lightning spirit ferocious beasts, the two of them took a short break. Then, they turned into rays of traveling light and ascended to the peak of the central lightning bamboo. At the peak of the mountain, black lightning rumbled. Even Ning Fan and Hong Yi had to pay 120% of their attention to avoid being struck by the black lightning to prevent themselves from getting hurt. Under the tempering of the lightning, an ancient black lightning formation that was 100,000 zhang large was connected to the ground. It was glowing with rolling lightning. Ning Fan was proficient in formation techniques. He squatted down slightly and carefully touched the formation light on the ground. After a while, he confirmed that this lightning teleportation formation indeed led to the upper level of the Thunder World. Hong Yi did not lie to him. Even though she had no reason to lie to him, he still took the unnecessary step of checking it. He was a little overly cautious. However, Hong Yi did not feel disgusted by his cautious attitude. Hong Yi had seen through countless people. She could naturally tell that Ning Fan had actually seen through the structure of the formation diagram of this lightning teleportation formation. Her opinion of Ning Fan rose once again. After all, this lightning formation was a grand formation at the peak mortal void realm. In the rain world, there were not many people who could see through it. Hong Yi knew that her formation techniques were not as good as Ning Fan's. You know about formations? I know a thing or two. Humph. Being too humble is a hypocrite. If you know a thing or two, you won't be able to see through a peak mortal void realm formation. Hypocrite, huh? I don't think so. This is my way of survival. Ning Fan shook his head. I don't care about what your way of survival is. However, let me remind you that there will be 3 difficult steps before you enter the Black Lightning Tower in the upper layer of the Cloud World. If you want to break through the 3 difficult steps, you must not be hypocritical or pretentious. You must face your heart honestly. Hong Yi was just coldly stating the facts. The 3 difficult steps contain opportunities. With your abilities, it won't be difficult for you to pass them. It's also possible for you to obtain opportunities. At least, if you face your heart honestly, there won't be much danger. What you need to pay attention to is the Black Lightning Tower. Remember, I need 7 bamboo leaves. If you can't get 7 bamboo leaves, it means that your strength is only at this level. Is she trying to provoke me? Ning Fan's eyes flickered slightly. The woman in front of him seemed to be purposely provoking his competitive spirit. Is she afraid that Ning Fan would not use his full strength and hold back his strength, which would cause him to fail to get 7 bamboo leaves? I'm just telling the truth. Hong Yi's face was as cold as a rock. Is that so? Then, you can look forward to seeing how many bamboo leaves I get. Ning Fan was not provoked and he did not have any competitive spirit either. He had always given his all when he did things. He would never hold back. Half a day later, Ning Fan adjusted his breathing to his peak state. With a step, he stepped into the lightning teleportation formation. Immediately after, Hong Yi made a series of hand seals and activated the formation map, teleporting Ning Fan to the cloud realm in the upper layer. The scenery around him changed rapidly. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan had already appeared above a 1 million zhang sea of black lightning. He stepped on the black clouds. The soft clouds did not give him much of a sense of reality. Ning Fan scanned his surroundings. In the far east, he saw a gigantic tower with rolling black lightning bolts piercing through the clouds. It was so tall that he could not see the top of it. It seemed to be the Black Lightning Bamboo Tower. On this sea of clouds, there were countless low-grade lightning spirits and ferocious beasts. However, the strongest among them was only at the nascent soul realm. Divine Transformation Realm and Void Refinement Realm beasts did not seem to live here. When they sensed Ning Fan's unusually strong baleful qi, countless ferocious beasts turned pale with fright. They scattered in all directions and fled for their lives. Ning Fan did not chase after those low-grade ferocious beasts. Instead, he looked at the far east with a serious expression. He did not take a single step forward. Instead, he suddenly turned his head around. His left eye flashed with purple light as he stared at the far west and said with a cold smile. There is no tower in the far east. The real Black Lightning Tower is obviously in the west. How dare you display your slight skill in front of me with such a low-grade illusory technique? Show yourself. As Ning Fan roared, his aura force fluctuated. His surging baleful qi actually shattered the surrounding scenery into pieces and dissipated like the reflection of the moon in the water. A muffled groan came from a dark place. It seemed like someone who was hiding in the dark was injured by Ning Fan. The black tower in the far east disappeared. In the middle of the desolate sea of clouds in the far west, a black tower slowly emerged. Countless lightning force formation lights emerged from the surroundings and surrounded Ning Fan. The lightning light turned into a black palace. Ning Fan was no longer in the desolate sea of clouds. Instead, he was standing in a black lightning palace that looked like a maze. Only by walking out of this palace could he head to the Black Lightning Tower in the far west. The empty palace was 10,000 zhang wide. On the brick wall of the palace, there was a plaque with a row of words written in black ink. The first formation, the true illusion stage. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Right now, this palace and the previous illusions were the true illusion stage. Previously, when he released his baleful qi, he had slightly injured the person who was hiding in the dark. That person was probably the one who controlled this stage. I am the White Lightning Realm Spirit. You are just an ant from the lower world. How dare you injure me? You are courting death. I will definitely let you die in the true illusion stage. In the dark, a furious voice that sounded like an old man attacked Ning Fan with an early Void Refinement Realm aura force. However, it was extinguished by Ning Fan with a flick of his sleeve. You? Ning Fan sneered. Don't you dare be so arrogant. Witness the power of my formation. The mysterious expert shouted angrily and activated the true illusion formation. Immediately, two figures of women whom Ning Fan had never expected to appear appeared in front of him. Kill one of them and you can pass the first stage. If you can't, you will be trapped in this formation forever. The mysterious expert sneered. This joke isn't funny. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Not everything could be used to set up a stage. The two figures that appeared in front of him were Jiha. When Ning Fan observed them carefully, he was surprised to find out that these two Jiha were somewhat similar. They seemed to be illusions but also seemed real at the same time. One of them was connected to Jiha's luck through the heavenly Tao. It could be considered as Jiha's true body. If this true body dies, Jiha's luck would be greatly damaged. As for the other one, it was an illusion which could be killed at will. If he kills Jiha's true body by mistake, the consequences would be unimaginable. As for Ning Fan, he did not have the intention to kill Jiha at all. Don't force me to take action after dispersing my wife's luck. Otherwise, you will regret it. Ning Fan's tone became even colder. His words were filled with ice-cold killing intent. Regret? Who do you think you are? How can you make me regret? The mysterious elderly man burst into laughter with extreme disdain. You must die. Ning Fan closed his eyes and said no more. There were 3 stages in front of the Black Lightning Tower. The first stage was the true illusion stage. In the lower level of the Black Lightning Realm, Hong Yi stood in front of the teleportation formation. Her blood-red eyes seemed to have sensed something. That damned vile creature actually woke up at this moment. With this vile creature in the way, I'm afraid it will be extremely dangerous for that young man to break through the 3 stages. Humph. If I knew this would happen, I would have killed this vile creature in the past. I wonder if that young man Zhou Ming can break through the 3 stages under the situation where this vile creature is personally controlling the formation. True Illusion Stage, Immortal Mortal Stage and Tao Life Stage. These 3 stages are the ancient formations of the White Lightning Realm. They communicate with the heavenly Tao and are extraordinary. Now that the White Lightning Realm spirit is causing trouble, that young man will have to pay a great price if he's careless. He might even implicate his loved ones. When the White Lightning Realm spirit was still alive, no one could pass through the 3 stages of Immortal Emperor Tai Su's tests. Zhou Ming. Even though this young man is just an ant, I wonder if he can surprise me again. Hong Yi said coldly. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.